Really weird stuff. That's very weird.
Really Weird Stuff is a holistic Twin Peaks podcast. That means we discuss each episode within the context of the series as a whole. In other words, spoilers abound. Welcome to Really Weird Stuff, episode 31, wherein we will discuss Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, the 1992 film released after the conclusion of the original run of the show. It was written by David Lynch and Robert Engels and directed by David Lynch.
It sure was.
Super extra directed by David Lynch. I'm Jessica Baxter.
I'm Amy Green.
And we're back, baby. We've had a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm glad we had the time because doing this research was like, it felt like I was... You're not going to get this reference, but I was like Gandalf.
That's Lord of the
Researching the Ring. Just nose deep in all the books and watched the movie a bunch of times. And God, it's such a good rewatch, though.
Yes, it is a really good rewatch, yeah. I've lost count of how many times I have watched it, and then the other day I was like, all right, I got to watch this. And I didn't feel like I was in the mood to, and then as soon as it came out, I'm like, oh my God, I love this movie.
I feel like it starts out really good. I mean, obviously there's a lot of heavy shit, but it starts out... funny and like Twin Peaksy, even if it's not the characters we know. Mm-hmm. And we get Gordon.
We do get Gordon,
So that he's like kind of our usher into this.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. They were going to do 3 of these movies.
Oh.
Like a French company gave David Lynch a bunch of money and it was like, you can do 3. That's why this is all a prequel. And he was going to wrap up everything else in the next 2.
Oh, okay.
But then this one flopped so hard that they were like, never mind.
Right. You do that with a French accent.
Yeah. Never mind.
No,
Forget about it. So... This movie starts as an investigation into the murder of Theresa Banks in February 1988, and then it jumps to February 17th, 1989, to follow Laura Palmer during the harrowing last week of her life.
Yeah.
And it concludes in the Red Room, where Dale Cooper stands with a comforting hand on Laura's shoulder, which is like a reverse of where the return ends, with Coop in the chair and Laura whispering into his ear. Mm-hmm. The Coop Loop. We're making it a thing.
This is... future or is it past?
Is it a time loop? Is it a rewritten timeline? What is going on with this movie? We will get into that. But first, just a little bit of history. A quote from Lynch on Lynch. David said, "I couldn't get myself to leave the world of Twin Peaks. I was in love with the character of Laura Palmer and her contradictions, radiant on the surface but dying inside. I wanted to see her live, move, and talk. I was in love with that world, and I hadn't finished with it. But making the movie wasn't just to hold on to it. It seemed that there was more stuff that could be done." And then Sheryl Lee echoed those sentiments, and she said, "I never got to be Laura alive, just in flashbacks. It allowed me to come full circle with the character." Lynch says the movie's about, and this is, it's unusual for him to say what anything is about, but he said it's about the loneliness, shame, guilt, confusion, and devastation of the victim of incest. It also dealt with the torment of the father, the war within him. Mm-hmm. Woo! Themes, servant themes. Do you remember when you first saw this movie?
Yeah, I saw it when it came out in the theater. Yeah. It's so fun to watch it now, and I can understand why it flopped so hard. And even I remember I was such a big Twin Peaks fan, and I saw it in the theater as soon as it came out, and I was like, ooh, what was that? It is funny now to see that people went in expecting this quirky Twin Peaks, that show. And then it was like, oh, wow. What? And I just love and respect him so much for what he did with this movie. This is stuff about a murdered girl. It's not entertainment. Because we have so much of that where the dead girl is just the body, and it's like, no, this
This was a person.
Right. This was a person and it was something very terrible that happened. Every time you watch it, you just get so much more out of it, I think.
It's true. I have no idea how many times I've seen it because I really wish I could just somehow download something into my brain that lets every movie I've ever seen onto Letterboxd.
Right.
Because I would really like to know some things. I'm like, how many times have I seen that? You know, but
yeah,
it's been like 6 times since I had a Letterboxd account like 3 years ago. So. And it's always a new experience. Every time there's a little something that gets unlocked.
And what was your first watch? Like, what do you remember about it?
I rented it from Stadium Video in Tacoma.
Okay.
So it's probably like 19 or 20. And I definitely felt very challenged by it at the beginning. I was like,
Right.
I'd heard things. I wasn't blindsided the way a lot of people felt like, oh, we're going to find out what happened to Coop. And they didn't get anything. I already knew essentially what happened in it. But even so, it's obviously the first R-rated Twin Peaks we've ever gotten.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big change. It's delightful. I was very delighted by the F-bombs. I was so happy Bobby got to swear.
Yes. Love Bobby in this movie. He's
Oh my
so
God,
good.
I know.
He's so good. His swagger.
Oh, we'll get into Bobby. Wonderful, wonderful Bobby. And then, yeah, I mean, I definitely wasn't like, that's my favorite movie ever after the first time I saw it. Mm-hmm. But I kept wanting to revisit it. And now it is one of my favorite movies ever. So repeat viewings and studying it and understanding it pays off in a really beautiful way.
A fun memory for me of the first time I saw it in the theater in my hometown. And then afterwards I was in the bathroom and these 2 girls, they were like teenagers and they were talking about it basically like, what was that? And one of them was like, there are just some things I feel like you really have to be an adult to understand.
Oh, wow.
And I think of them like every time when I watch this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I hope they revisited it when
when
they felt like
they
adults.
understood it, yeah.
Probably part of it too is that as you get older you have more perspective and that's why you can unlock so much more from it. I feel like I understand Sarah so much more now. When I first started watching, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with her? Why doesn't she do anything?
Right.
And now it's, I understand she was absolutely terrified too.
Right. And he's drugging her, right? Like, don't they even show that? Yeah, so, I mean.
But there are little clues, I feel like, that she knows that there's something going on. But she doesn't even dare let herself think about it. Mm-hmm. Like, even though she knows deep down, she's like, I can't even go there.
Right.
Because what happens when she does go there is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, what else? Oh, he did have a hard time getting some of the main people back. As much as people wanted to see Coop, Kyle was a hard sell. He was worried about typecasting, which is crazy to think about now because he's so fully embraced Coop.
Right.
Like, he celebrates every February 24th and he's always doing Twin Peaks stuff. So it's really funny that a young Kyle was like, I don't want to be Coop. And it's like, what a wonderful thing to be, though.
I know. And plus, he's also done so much more. I guess fundamentally that's what he's most known for, but he's still pretty known for other things he's done. You know what I mean?
I feel like he's just most beloved for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like his Showgirl's character is not beloved. A lot of people remember it.
Right, yeah.
So there. He got to prove that he was more than just Coop.
Wasn't he on Portlandia a bunch?
Yes. Yeah. He was really, really cute on that.
And he was a regular, a husband on Sex and the City. So
okay, that's right.
He was a couple seasons on that.
That's right. I feel like he might have been on Desperate Housewives, too.
I think so. I didn't watch that show, but that sounds great.
Yeah. So he did lots and lots.
Yeah.
And of course, he gets to really stretch his muscles. Ironically, the most wide range acting he does is in The Return.
Right.
Still doing Twin Peaks, but what a showcase.
Yeah.
Other reticent actors were Laura Flynn Boyle.
Yeah, what was the story there?
There's no official story. Someone would have to ask her directly. That's literally what David Lynch said, was you'd have to ask Laura Flynn Boyle. She said she was busy. She had other things going on. She did shoot Wayne's World around the time this was...
Had she and Kyle broken up? Like,
yes.
Was that probably part of it, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't have had any scenes together anyway, but she might have just been like, I don't even want to think about it anymore. It's just too painful to be there. Yeah. But I'm actually really glad because I love Moira Kelly.
I love Moira Kelly, too. She's definitely the better Donna.
Oh, she's wonderful. And then Sheryl Fenn and Richard Beamer, just flat no.
I mean, I love Sheryl and Fenn, but I don't feel like you miss them. I mean, I definitely didn't miss Ben. You know? There's so much going on already in this movie. You know?
Oh my God, yeah. And when you read The Secret Diary, it would make sense for Audrey to be there because she and Audrey weren't friends.
Right. Right.
This is Laura's story. And she did interact with Ben, but we don't need to see that.
Right.
We already saw enough of that with him and Audrey.
Yeah.
Principal photography began September 5th, 1991 in Snoqualmie, Washington. So a lot was shot on location, which is really exciting. 4 weeks in Washington locations, and then 4 weeks in Los Angeles soundstage. I guess there were a couple of locations in Los Angeles, too. They had to shoot the interiors of the train car in LA because they ran out of time. And they wanted to do it on the last day of shooting anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
like,
rough.
who wants to go back to work after
Right.
that? David Bowie did express disappointment with his role. This is just a random fun fact. Or not so fun, because it makes me sad, but...
Yeah.
He really wanted to be a part of it, but he also was really upset about his accent. He thought it was bad, and he felt rushed because he was also working on an album.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there were several regulars who filmed scenes, but they were cut from the final version.
Oh.
Harry, obviously, Warren Frost. I'm glad they cut Warren Frost for once. Mary Jo Deschanel, Eileen Hayward, Everett McGill, Ed and Nadine have a scene together. Jack Nance and Joan Chen.
Really?
And Kimmy Robertson. Actually, I do remember a scene with Lucy and Andy from The Missing Pieces. So we're not going to go through all the missing pieces because that's a whole episode, but I will reference certain scenes from time to time.
Okay.
So David said about that, it was a little bit of sadness in cutting the scenes.
Aww.
You'd like to have everybody there, but their characters didn't have a bearing on the life of Laura Palmer, which makes a lot of sense.
Fair,
I really
yeah.
appreciate that
Right.
purity.
Right. It's not just doing some fan service of like, oh, look, here's Audrey because you love her. Or,
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
Lucy
Oh my
and
God.
Andy,
Like,
right? There's no real reason for Lucy and Andy to be in this movie.
If David Lynch ever does fan service, it's completely by accident. It's like, that is not what I'm about.
Right.
Critical reception. We've already talked a little bit about how it didn't do well from a box office standpoint. Also, a lot of critics were very harsh. Mm-hmm. Of course, Roger Ebert.
It had like trash taste, though. I don't know why people like.
I know. He's like he's like my favorite critic who the opposite of what Roger Ebert thinks is what's correct. And then Quentin Tarantino saw it at Cannes, which first of all, I'm like, I can't believe you got to see it at Cannes and this was your reaction. He was very excited to deliver this quote. David Lynch has disappeared so far up his own ass that I have no desire to see another David Lynch movie until I hear something different. And you know, I loved him. I loved him.
Shut up, Quentin Tarantino.
I see this quote all the time. For some reason, people love to perpetuate Quentin's opinion in Fire Walk with Me. I hope it's just to show what an idiot he is.
Or like, I
clearly doesn't
feel
know what to
like,
make.
did he watch it again? Did it grow on him? You know, because a lot of people didn't love it their first time.
That's true.
You know.
But they just didn't get quoted so much because they
Right.
weren't Quentin Tarantino. But it did win some awards.
Ooh.
There were some nominations. 5 Saturn Awards and 2 Independent Spirit Awards.
Oh.
And Angelo Badalamenti won a Spirit Award and a Saturn and a Brit Award for the score. Badalamenti was the only one who won anything.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to read a couple other
Yeah.
negative reviews. Janet Maslin, New York Times. Mr. Lynch's taste for brain-dead grotesque has lost its novelty. Another Times critic, Vincent Canby, said, it's not the worst movie ever made, it just feels like it.
Whatever.
Variety, Todd McCarthy said, Laura Palmer, after all the talk, is not a very interesting or compelling
What?
character. Like, who do you think
Not
is compelling?
interesting,
Jesus
my gosh.
Christ. I know. USA Today gave it 1.5 stars, calling it dark and depressing, which they're not wrong about that, but
fair.
good old Peter Travers said, though the movie ups the TV ante on nudity, language, and violence, Lynch's control falters. But if inspiration is lacking, talent is not. Count Lynch down, but never out. Which is weird, because that's like one of the best worst reviews from Peter Travers of all people.
Right.
Most positive reviews came from British film critics, including Kim Newman from Sight and Sound. The film's many moments of horror demonstrate just how tidy, conventional, and domesticated the generic horror movie of the 1980s and 1990s has become.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Sight and Sound's like a real, like, journal. Not just like, oh, here's what I thought about the movie. Oh, I did want to just say how big it bombed. It had a $10 million budget, and it grossed $4.2 million in the U.S.
Yeah.
It weirdly was extremely successful in Japan.
Weird.
I know. And then I just want to mention some motifs straight out, straight out the gate.
I forgot to look for motifs.
We can talk about them as we go, and any other ones we think of are point out. One is a very common Lynch theme. Electricity as shorthand for the presence of evil. That is all over the place.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
And the other one I noticed this time, which never really occurred to me before, is that so many scenes start mid-conversation. And the only reason I know they're mid-convo is because the shooting script and the missing pieces have the whole scenes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I think it improves the movie. I mean, I really think it works. You don't need the first part of the convo. You can infer what they're talking about without all the extra stuff.
Right. Also, like the weird clocks. Like, it was a fun throwback because it's like there was such a short period of time that we had those kind of clocks. You know, it was kind of like the first digital clocks, and there were those that flipped, and then there were also ones that it almost looked like it was melting when it changed.
Yeah.
And it was so fun when you were looking at the clock at the right moment to see it flip.
Yeah, they're so noticeable.
Yeah, it really wanted us to notice those clocks changing.
And I think it is probably because there's such a specific short amount of time that they were like the fad, or that's what people bought. He loves stuff like that. There is some other, this is a classic Lynch thing, either antiquated technology or sort of made up technology that looks like old technology. We get to that right away, so let's get into the movie. It opens with credits on blue television static in close-up. Sheryl Lee and Ray Wise get top billing, and everybody else is in alphabetical order. And the director credit comes just as the camera pulls out to reveal it's a TV, reveal the TV frame, because we just see the blue static at first. And Battlement is haunting score, already like unsettling you. And the TV gets smashed. Many people love this as like a meta David thing. Right. Like, everything you thought you were going to see is out the window. This is a movie, it's not TV.
Yeah, my TV show got canceled.
Yeah. I like that. Then it cuts to a body wrapped in plastic, floating in the river. It's Theresa Banks.
Yeah.
This is a muddy, gross river. Not the nice Snoqualmie River.
No.
Cut to Fargo, North Dakota, where we meet Agent Chet Desmond, played by Chris Isaac. Good old Chris Isaac with tremendous hair.
Yes.
I love that hair.
Yeah, he's got great hair. Why is he so good in this movie?
It's so weird.
I mean, I don't have any thought about him here or there, you know. Yeah. He's just so weirdly good in this.
I mean, I like that one video. The Wicked Game video is really hot.
Yeah.
And that's a really good song. But yeah, other than that, like, I don't know what else he's even acted in.
Oh, no.
He's perfect for this.
Yeah,
this is perfect
in this.
Even though he's kind of a dick, I don't know. Sam is kind of annoying, but I don't know if he deserves all the taunting he gets. Chet is kind of a prankster, I guess.
Right.
Anyway, so Chet Desmond is busy helping to arrest two prostitutes who were for some reason on a school bus full of screaming children.
Right, the children are so upset.
Yeah. Did they think those were chaperones?
I don't know what is happening there. They are very upset.
And it's the FBI.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Something happened. Poor kids.
Yeah.
I do like that, you know, the whole adage about don't work with kids or animals, but you can work with kids if all you need them to do is scream bloody murder.
Right.
I've seen him directing that scene in The Return in the police station where they get the wrong guy and he has kids.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, kids. So he's directing the kids and he's like, scream, cry more, roll around on the floor.
There you go. That's beautiful. Roll back the other way. Roll back the other way. Roll back the other way. Same thing. Roll back. Roll back. No. It's too happy. Roll again. Get over there and roll really in pain. Really in pain. That's beautiful.
And then Desmond takes a call from Gordon Cole. He's calling from Oregon.
Okay, Gordon. Oregon!
A lot of static. In Gordon's office, we see a sort of Puget Soundish photo mural behind him, which recalls the atomic bomb mural. I guess he likes to have photo murals behind him in offices.
I got a girl's been murdered, 17 years old. Named Theresa Banks. Chet, I've got a surprise for you. Something interesting I would like to show you. Arrangements are being made, and I will meet you at the private Portland airport.
Okay, Gordon.
I'm so excited for what's going to happen at that airport.
First one, no, there's one actual shot inside the tiny plane. Unmistakable shot through the, you call it a dashboard, what do you call it?
Oh, right. Windshield?
The windshield, I guess.
know.
Anyway, you see that it's a tiny plane. I'm terrified of tiny planes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who was in there, but anyway, it was a 1958 Ryan Navion A, and it's allegedly still registered with the FAA and flying.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Tiny planes, I guess they hold up better than the new Boeing planes anyway.
Jesus, I know.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used
This
to.
is one against the libertarians because deregulation is not working out so great.
It really is.
Yeah. Weird.
So here we are in Portland Private Airport on
Yay.
the runway, and we meet Sam Stanley from Spokane.
Jet, give Sam Stanley the glad hand. He's come over from Spokane.
It's a pleasure. I've heard a lot about you.
Sam's the man who cracked the Whitman case.
I just love all of the assonance in this. He's a forensic pathologist, and he has this little green machine that he invented, allegedly. And it helped him solve the Wilson case.
The Whitman case.
First he says, I just really like this line, the way David says it, and I think about it all the time. Anytime anyone says M.O.
Sam, you stick with Jet. He's got his own M.O. Modus operandi.
Modus operandi.
Right.
Just a delight every time.
So, I know.
So, do you want to talk about Lil?
Yeah, she's my mother's sister's girl.
Yeah, who's missing?
Uncle.
And he puts the hand in front of his face because the uncle's in jail.
Her name is Lil. She's my mother's sister's girl. Good luck, Jet.
She does this wonderful little dance. That was really something with the dancing girl. Sour face.
The sour face is so funny.
Remember, Lil's wearing a sour face.
What do you mean?
Her face had a sour look on it. We're going to have problems with the local authorities. I'm not going to be receptive to the FBI. Both eyes blinking means trouble higher up. You notice she had one hand in her pocket, which means they were hiding something. And the other hand made into a fist, which means they're going to be belligerent. Lil was walking in place, which means there's going to be a lot of legwork involved.
It's so funny, the whole thing. I know one of the theories about it is that it's like David Lynch poking fun at himself a little bit, like, oh, you think I just put all this weird stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just so weird. And why did we have to do any of that? Like, why didn't one of them just tell them all this stuff?
Right.
You know, like, well, that means we're going to have trouble with law enforcement there.
Right.
This means that. And did you notice her hand was in her pocket? And
Yeah.
it's like, what is the reason for any of this?
I feel like it kind of validates Chet as an observant, on the ball kind of guy.
Yeah.
Unlike Sam. Sam is not on the ball. We
Sam
learned that
doesn't
in the
get any
pilot.
of it, yeah.
Diane, I'm at the Twin Peaks County morgue with the body of the victim. What's her name? Laura Palmer. Laura Palmer. Ring the finger under the nail. It's an R. Diane, give this to Albert and his team. Don't go to Sam. Albert seems to have a little more on the ball. We need to bag and tag this.
Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
I love, like, her crazy red hair because it's sort of like before that was a thing that everybody had crazy colors in their hair.
Yeah. Very striking.
Yeah.
That was a great Halloween costume. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to say before we head out of the airport is that Cole tells Sam to stay by Chet's side. I don't think I ever noticed that before this last watch, and I was like, he didn't do that.
Didn't, right.
That would have
He
really
knew.
been helpful.
Yeah, he knew. He always, like, just knows.
Yeah, it's a Blue Rose case.
Yes.
So you gotta work in pairs on a Blue Rose case.
Right.
So Chet should have known that.
You notice what was pinned to it?
A blue rose.
Good. But I can't tell you about that.
Can't.
And then we're at the Deer Meadows Sheriff's Department, and I really love how this is like bizarro Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department.
Totally, right?
So fun. All the comps. It really makes you appreciate Harry for once. Things do not go smoothly. There, Andy is a shitbag. His name is Cliff, and he is really excited to make them wait a long time and tell them that the coffee was fresh 2 days ago.
I know, and they both keep laughing and they're so obnoxious.
Yes.
Why don't you have a seat over there with your partner? Go ahead, make yourself at home, because it's going to be a while. Why don't you have some coffee? Go ahead. It was fresh about 2 days ago.
And also, Lucy. Like, Lucy always tries to look like she's working. Like, this one's not even pretending.
Right.
She's just, like, straight up reading. And I do feel like when they say the coffee was fresh 2 days ago, that's, like, the ultimate insult.
Right.
Like,
So
there's
rude.
nothing more insulting you could say to a Blue Rose FBI agent.
Right. God.
They need their coffee. So, Desmond breaks Cliff's nose with his hand. I love that kind of stuff. He's telling you, like, this guy is as competent as Coop. Or at least he's kind of on the level. He knows what he's doing. And he tells the secretary.
You can start that fresh pot of coffee right now.
And then Chet just walks into the sheriff's office. Sheriff Cable.
Cable Ben Steele.
Cable Ben
God.
Steele. Even though this guy is such an asshole, he has some pretty funny line reading.
Right, yeah, he's pretty funny.
Well, little fella.
Well, little fella, we don't need any outside help around here. I don't like you people sniffing around my neck of the woods. In fact, when the state boys called me about a J. Edgar coming up here, I think I said, so what?
But then he's like really blasé about Theresa Banks, which I don't appreciate.
Is he the one who says your basic kill?
Yes.
Yes, I do not like that.
Which is like also completely incorrect.
Right, yeah.
Basic kill. Banks was a drifter and nobody knew her.
It's a good thing you guys aren't doing this investigation.
Right.
Banks was a drifter and nobody knew her, so I guess that means her life was worthless and you shouldn't look into it. And then we close at 5.
It's 4:30. We close at 5.
We have our own clock. We'll lock up.
People are in the sheriff's office 24/7 in Twin Peaks,
Right,
basically.
yeah.
Like, they practically live there.
Right. It's weird that the sheriff can just close. Like,
Yeah.
we're closed. Okay. Nothing happened between 5 and 9, I guess.
Yeah. I was home, had my phone unplugged, I guess.
Right. Put it on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah. He has a bowling trophy, too, I noticed. And the Cable Ben Steele picture with him. And so there is a missing pieces between this scene and going to the morgue shed where they take it outside and they have a mano-a-mano and it's kind of brutal. It lasts a while. It's a little bit reminiscent of like the fight scene in They Live. But in the end, Chet wins and then he like bends a bar as well.
That's
You're
really
not special.
Right. Chet Ben Steele.
Yeah. In the theatrical cut, they just cut straight to them walking to the shed. How can you have a body in a shed?
Right.
That must smell fucking awful.
Yeah.
And Stanley, for some reason, is obsessed with valuing everything in a building. I don't know why he does that.
You know, Agent Desmond, I figured this whole office, furniture included, is worth $27,000.
Really
Which seems
weird.
high, actually. But...
It does seem pretty high for what's in there.
So then inside the mortuary shed, we get a close-up of Theresa Banks. She looks very green and rotting and traumatized.
Yeah.
It's bad.
The face looks really frozen in horror. Like,
Yeah.
it's rough.
Which also is such a contrast to Laura because not only is Laura look peaceful sleeping, they take real care with the body too when they get her there. It's so clear that no one's taken any sort of care with Theresa.
Right.
All the juxtaposition is very striking.
Mm-hmm.
So they have some exposition where they're going over the known facts. No one came to claim the body, crushed skull by repeated blows from blunt object. They can tell she's missing a ring because she has a little mark on her finger. And she worked at Pap's Diner and lived at the Fat Trout Trailer Park for a month. Oh, I also noticed that there's like a bunch of, like, some of them look like urns behind them, but one is definitely a percolator. A copper
weird.
percolator. So I thought that was kind of funny. It's a little Philip Jeffries-ish. Well, copper's a motif, because there's copper on the Chalfont trailer also.
Oh.
So then Sam pulls out his machine. And my God, the crunching when he moves her arm under there.
Oh, yeah.
We know David's amazing at sound design.
Seems to be an interesting contusion. Under the ring finger of the left hand.
And then if you thought the letter under the fingernail was bad in the pilot...
God, I know. I have to tell myself every time she's dead. She doesn't feel it, but it's like, oh God, that's like
it looks
a
awful.
Ceiling fan contender. It's so, that nail just comes all the way off.
And I think they know it's horrifying because they cut through it at least twice. Oof.
Yeah.
It's being magnified. That's what that machine does. It magnifies things extreme, I guess. And it's the letter T under there.
Yeah.
And they work from 4:30 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. That is a long-ass time.
That's a long time, yeah.
I don't know what all they found out in that time. It seemed like they were almost done at 4:30, but what do I know?
Right.
Sam's like, where are we going to sleep? And Chet's like, ha ha ha, we're not sleeping. We're going to get breakfast at Hap's Diner, where Theresa worked. Great exterior. That neon clown. Just what a remarkable sign that they found somehow. And then, of course, the electricity. It's like the neon clown is only half lit, and then it seems like they walk in through the back of the restaurant, and there's some trouble with a lamp.
How's it going with that guy down there?
So then they get into the restaurant and they question Irene, who is a real fun character.
Irene, yeah.
Now, Irene is her name, and it is nice. Don't go any further with it.
Irene is so funny. She's got a couple of contenders, too, for Fish in the Park.
Fish, oh my God, I know.
She only worked here a month. Nice girl. Never seemed to get here on time, though. You ask me. She had a little problem with...
And also when she says, I don't do drugs, and he's like, nicotine's a drug, caffeine is a drug.
Yes.
Do you ever take cocaine, Irene?
No, I do not. I never took cocaine or any other drug.
Nicotine's a drug. Caffeine's a drug.
Who's the towhead? Those drugs are legal.
Who's the towhead?
Yeah.
That's really funny. But also, she's really helpful because she says two super helpful things. One, she says,
You ask me. Her death was what you'd call a freak accident.
which is the opposite of what Sheriff Cable said.
Right.
Basic kill. And she said that
once for about 3 days, just before her time, Theresa's arm went completely dead.
What do you mean?
Her left arm. It was numb. She said she couldn't use it. Probably those drugs she was taking.
Before she says that, she goes,
I never told anybody this.
like, this just happened. Like, what do you mean you never told anyone this? It's a funny thing to say.
Well, maybe she means, like, when the police were there.
Yeah.
If they came in earlier.
It is just funny.
Which was
how
a
she
smart
says
thing
it.
to do,
Yeah.
because they shouldn't tell them anything. They don't know anything. And then, very curiously, elsewhere in the diner, there's a middle-aged man sitting next to a young French woman.
Right?
Which I completely forgot about. The French ladies.
That's the kind of girl to make you wish you spoke a little French.
Très chic.
What are the French ladies all about?
Are you talking about that little girl that got murdered?
First of all, I just love it when anybody refers to them as little girls or girls, because
Right.
they are babies. Like, they're
Right.
all under 20.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. I appreciate it. It's very empathetic. But he's not very helpful otherwise.
You got something to tell us?
I know shit from Shangola.
And then his companion says... Do you want to say the French?
La nuit
Googled
est
it.
le bon moment.
And is that correct? Night is the right time.
French is so hard to pronounce. It's like,
It
just barely say
really
it, you know?
So it seems like he might know something, or what the fuck? I don't know. Night is the right time isn't exactly like, now's the time to say what you want to say or anything like that. But it just seems like he wants to say something and he doesn't. I literally have no theories about this part.
Right.
And I couldn't really find anything. It's just interesting that there's a French girl here.
Right.
And they're kind of similar with their sleek looks. You know, they're put together, fashionable.
Très chic.
Very out of place in Deer Meadow, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah. How did she get there?
Yeah. So then Chet plays a shitty coffee prank on poor sleep-deprived Stanley.
Oh.
What time is it, Stanley?
It's late, Sam. It's late, man.
No,
Take it. I'm sorry.
It's early. It's really early.
And then it's also funny because right before they leave, he forgets that he dumped his coffee out and, like, tries to take a sip, but it's empty. Which I also like because I feel like that's almost a comment on coffee always being empty on TV.
Yeah, it is funny. It's like, why is that the one thing actors can't do is pretend there's coffee in a cup?
I know, it's really striking in the first episode of The Return when they're sitting and watching the box and they're just like, here are empty coffees.
Yeah.
Wee!
I got you too.
You couldn't see us, but we were perfectly miming picking up empty coffee cups.
I like Irene's other friend of mine, which is like, do you want to hear about our specials?
We'd like to order some food, please.
You want to hear about our specials? We don't have any.
We don't have any.
God, yes.
Perfect.
That is a contender for my fish, and then also I feel like she says that to every new person that comes in here.
I think so, yeah.
She is so pleased after she says it. I just love
salty.
it. Get all your joy you can, Irene. I want you to have a good life. So then we go to the Fat Trout Trailer Park. God, I love Carl Rudd so much I can't even tell you. Just one of my all-time favorite Twin Peaks characters, Carl Rudd. Harry Dean Stanton, a delight, always.
So funny. Yeah.
What?
Nine.
Can you read?
That's another contender to me. It just means more shit I gotta do now.
I feel that line so hard.
Sorry to disturb you, but we need to see Theresa Banks' trailer, please.
Oh, shit. That goddamn trailer is more popular than Uncle's Day in a whorehouse. You see what I mean? It just means like more shit I gotta do now.
That's all that means.
I know. And I never touched a goddamn thing.
Everything's exactly like she left it. Haven't touched a goddamn thing.
I love his sign.
Right.
It's funny, in The Return, he has a similar sign, but he printed it out. And it's not quite as adamant. Do not ever disturb before 9 a.m. ever.
Right.
In The Return, it says 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And then right next to 9:30 a.m. it says never before 4 exclamation points. Which is still more chill than the sign he has now.
Right.
More popular than Uncle's Day at a Whorehouse, he says. About Theresa Banks' trailer.
I know. Did they do that?
I
didn't know they had themed days that...
I bet they do at One Eye Jack's.
Oh, probably, yeah. For Uncle Jerry, maybe?
You.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's the uncle there? Do any of the Renault brothers have kids? Because then the rest would be uncles.
I hope not. Jesus.
I know, right?
They probably do, but I don't want to think about it. So then they go to Theresa's trailer. She was renting this trailer. They find a picture of her wearing the green owl cave ring. That's the missing ring, of course. And then while they're looking around, Carl says...
Well, I'm gonna make myself a cup of Good Morning America. You all want some?
They definitely want some of that.
Yeah.
And then Desmond is looking into the eyes of Theresa for a long time on that picture. She's got really beautiful green eyes, and I feel like that is just so that we get to spend some time with the person because we've just seen her in a horrible state.
Right. And it's again a reminder that this is not just entertainment. Like, this is a person's murder who is an actual person, you know?
Yeah.
And so many people are so dismissive about, she was like a drifter, she didn't know anybody, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
doesn't mean
so
she
he's
deserves
giving
to
respect
die.
to that. Right.
I really like that. So then, Carl comes back with 3 cups of Good Morning America.
There you go, boys.
Hey.
Good Morning America.
No kidding, man. This stuff's got the sting of the 48-hour blend.
That's right. It's the best goddamn coffee you're gonna get anywhere, buddy.
But then Chet says the stuff's got the sting of the 48-hour blend. It sounds like a compliment, but at the Deer Meadows station, it was like, it's not good to have be 48 hours. So maybe it is really bad coffee, but he's just being nice because Carl's nice. I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you
I
think?
don't know what he meant by that. Seems like he appreciates it.
Yeah. He wants it that way.
Right.
Chet, you got interesting coffee preferences.
Right.
And then we get a spooky camera and wind. And in comes a dirty old lady holding an ice pack to her eye.
She's so dirty.
Oh my god. This has to be a lodge entity because that's what that wind means. Like, you hear the wind a lot when Leland is bobbing out.
Yeah.
So this is some lodge entity, and the other reason we know it's a lodge entity is because Carl is terrified when he sees her. Woo. I just got chills just now, literally, thinking about Harry Dean Stanton's face in this scene.
Did you know Theresa Banks?
She just kind of shakes her head a little bit. It's actually not clear if she even shakes her head or if she's just kind of like shaking.
Like just twitchy.
Yeah. And she backs out. Cut to the electrical pole outside. Electricity is evil.
Scary electricity.
And then back to Carl with like tears welling up in his eyes.
Yeah.
See, I've already gone places. I just want to stay where I am.
We have talked about this on the show before. Actually, maybe we've talked about this on the show in the future. I can't remember. We recorded 2 return episodes a while ago.
I know, and I'm like so mixed up about like I was watching, I was like, wow, it has been a while since I watched Twin Peaks. Yeah.
Is it future or is it past? Regardless, Carl was abducted as a child by whatever also abducted Margaret.
Oh, right.
The two of them were together in the woods and they got abducted at the same time. So they gone places.
So he's right to be scared.
Yes. Spooky tree transition. That's a nice familiar thing for us Twin Peaks people. And then we're back at the Deer Meadow Sheriff's Station. The sign is funny. We've already seen the sign, but the antlers on the sign is pretty funny.
Right.
The buck stops here. And then Sam pulls up in an FBI van or something. Some kind of van. Chet in his car.
You're not taking that body anywhere.
We're taking the body back to Portland. There's not a thing you can do about it. Take the van back to Portland, Stanley. I'm going to take one more look at the trailer park.
This is a bad idea to split up. I really don't want to laugh at anything Cable says, but...
Theresa Banks had a ring. Any idea what happened to it?
We got a phone here. It's got a little ring.
I don't know why I like that so much. And that's when Chet's like, you go on to Portland, I will be right behind you. Just gotta go to the trailer park one more time.
Oh, no.
And Sam even says it's for the Blue Rose. Dude, I mean, because he doesn't know how serious the Blue Rose is. Mm-hmm. Maybe if they had told him about the Blue Rose, he would have been like, I should come with you. I don't know.
Maybe. I can't even imagine, like, if he had told him about the Blue Rose. He just wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, he can't. So then we're back at Fat Trout.
Where's my goddamn hot water?
Let me get you some belly.
This woman's name is Margaret. This is not the same Margaret we know. Right. But she wants to know where her goddamn hot water is. And Chet says he wants to see Cliff's trailer, which is a cutscene from The Missing Pieces. Cliff, the shitty Andy proxy, lives also in Fat Trout.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Deputy Cliff's trailer right there with that red truck. That's his truck, too.
I guess when he got there, he asked about Cliff's trailer, but he isn't going that way. He follows a sort of hunch over to a very old-looking trailer, and it has copper pipes on the outside. And the light is on.
Again.
The light's on inside. He knocks on the door. No one answers. Then he leans down and sees the ring on a dirt mound. Uh-oh. Just as he reaches for it, freeze frame. Sometimes a freeze frame is we just supposed to like linger on this idea, or is that when he got sucked in?
Right.
Yeah, it's really unclear and mystical. And I can imagine being so confused when you first see this. I've seen it too many times since then, but it's just like, whoa.
To it now.
Yeah. Oh, but before he does that, he notices the electric pole, the same one that it cut to after we saw the weird old lady with the ice pack. So, something about that pole. That pole, not a good pole. Anyway.
Not a good pole.
Then we cut to a shadow of the Liberty Bell. It's kind of fun. Pans up to the Liberty Bell itself. Philadelphia office.
Yeah.
I'd rather be here than Philadelphia, said Coop in the pilot. But he is here in Philadelphia in this scene. He walks into the office.
Okay.
What a scene this is.
No, it's so
Iconic
exciting
scene.
to see Coop.
Yes, very exciting.
Yeah.
He's very Coopy right away.
Gordon, it's 10:10 a.m. on February 16th. I was worried about today because of the dream I told you about.
He does a bunch of confusing things. Richard, like, what is happening?
Right.
But I realized the dream he had was that he was in the hallway looking at the monitor and Philip came by behind him.
Yeah.
That must have been the dream, because that's why he keeps going back into the hallway and back into the booth. I bet in the dream he was like looking at himself on the monitor.
Yeah.
So he's waiting for that to happen.
Right.
And it works the third time he does that. And good old Philip Jeffries, a person, comes out of the elevator. He's dressed like he's on vacation in South America because he was like 1 second before this. There is a long scene in The Missing Pieces where we see him in hotel in Buenos Aires.
Oh.
Where he was looking for Judy. So yeah, he was there, and then he gets out of the elevator and he's in the Philadelphia office, very confused. He walks into the office toward Gordon. Coop rushes back in.
Gordon! 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 Philip, is that you? Cooper, meet the long-lost Philip Jeffries. You may have heard of him from the Academy.
Gordon seems kind of unfazed, which is interesting. Why are you not more surprised to see him? He was
right,
long lost.
long lost. I know. That's weird intro for someone long lost. You're just like, oh, hey, it's a long lost.
Yeah. Right. It's not like I just haven't seen you, but we knew exactly where you were.
Well, now, I'm not going to talk about Judy. In fact, we're not going to talk about Judy at all. We're going to keep her out of it.
Gordon? I know, Coop.
Cutaways to the convenience store. Apparently, the original scene in the convenience store was 10 minutes long.
Oh.
They cut it a lot. Michael J. Anderson talked about just shooting that all day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna run from the sea. This is the far right day.
Oh, believe me, I
So, what we're seeing when we cut away to the convenience store is one of their meetings. I've been to one of their meetings.
I've been to one of their meetings.
Albert's also there, being not very understanding, just quipping around, not being helpful. Albert really has such an arc. Yeah. Who do you think that is there? Really interesting. A lot of people have talked about this when he points at Coop and says that.
Who do you think this is there?
What the hell did he say there, Albert? That's Special Agent Dale Cooper.
It is our Coop, but he might know something about the Coop Loop. So some of the lines in the meeting that I don't know what most of them mean. This is a Formica table. Green is its color. Carmen Bozia. There's a monkey that says Judy. Pierre is there. He says fellow victim. He's the little boy that lived next door to Harold.
Yeah.
And then the arm says, with this ring, I thee wed. He has the ring. And Bob laughs so hard at that.
With this ring, I thee wed.
That's my favorite part because it just seems like they're having the best time.
Right.
It's like, I love that joke.
Good one.
I'll go baby down. No, I found something.
Oh, and then also we see just the close-up of Mike's mouth saying electricity. There's that motif again. And then it kind of ends all quickly. Jeffries disappears.
He's gone. He's gone. Albert, call the front desk.
I've got the front desk now. He was never here. And news from Deer Meadow. Agent Chester Desmond has disappeared.
He was here, but where did he go?
I love he takes like a little funny sort of hop when he gets off the elevator. It's really funny. It like made me laugh every time.
Yeah, he's got an interesting
Jaunty, like,
swagger.
Yeah.
I really would love to know how he was directed in that day.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really know what was going on.
Right. Like, what did he even think?
Yeah, what did David say about his motivation?
Right.
Any of it. I'm sure he must
Do you
have
even
had
know
some...
who Judy was?
No, I know. Because we're not going to talk about her.
He was here.
But where did he go? And where is Chester Desmond?
All right, so we're back at Fat Trail Trailer Park because Coop is going to try and track Chester Desmond. Carl, once again, I never touched a goddamn thing.
I took trailer over there and I never touched a goddamn thing. Agent Chet Desmond come by a second time and asked to see Deputy Cliff Howard's trailer over here, which I showed him. Then I went back to my trailer, and after that, never saw him again.
Thank you, Carl. Sorry to wake you.
All right. Never a bad dream anyway.
He thought Coop was there to see Cliff's trailer. I don't know why he keeps thinking people are coming to see Cliff's trailer.
Right.
That's not the way up to Deputy Cliff's trailer, I told you.
I'm not going to Deputy Cliff's trailer.
Well, where the hell are you going?
Going over here.
What does he know? What does he know about Cliff, right? Like,
he's like, I think you should check out Cliff's
He's
trailer.
like,
It's over there. God damn, these people are confusing.
I love that line. Carl follows Coop to the space, and it's where the old-timey trailer was. The mound is still there, obviously. The ring is gone. The dirt is disturbed. He asks Carl, who most recently rented the space. It's an old woman and her grandson. Ah!
Can you tell me what their names were?
Chalfont. As a matter of fact, Chalfont was the name of the people that rented the space before. 2 Chalfonts. Weird, huh?
2 Chalfonts.
such a common name.
Yeah, I know. As you know, Chalfont is who used to live in Laura Palmer's house at the end of The Return.
Yes, we own this house.
Who did you buy it from?
Chalfont and Mrs. Chalfont.
What is your name?
Alice Tremond.
And then what's also interesting is the first time you hear Chalfont as a name, because in Twin Peaks, she's Mrs. Tremond.
Oh, right, yeah.
So she's just got her 2 aliases. What can we call them? Trefont.
Is that Agent Desmond's vehicle?
It's a 1982 Plymouth Grand Fury, and scrawled in red cursive over the smashed windshield, "Let's rock."
Yeah.
Diane says that. Her doppelganger says that in The Return. And also the arm says it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's rock.
Let's rock. I guess it's just some sort of rallying cry they do.
Right. Time to start rocking.
He means rock and roll. Great shot of Coop and Carl through the windshield. And then Coop goes to hang out by the river and make a tape to Diane.
Diane, it's 4:20 p.m. I'm standing here at Wind River near the location where the body of Theresa Banks was found. Diane, this case gives me a strange feeling. Not only has Special Agent Chester Desmond disappeared without a trace, but this is one of Cole's Blue Rose cases. The clues that were found by Special Agent Desmond and Agent Stanley have led to dead ends. The letter that was extracted from beneath the fingernail of Theresa Banks gives me the feeling that the killer will strike again. Like the song goes, who knows where or when.
So, that's the end of part 1.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like cool, strong opening, you know.
All right, well, let's take a break and do the awards for part 1, because it's like
Yes.
almost a completely different cast.
Yeah, that's good, because I have contenders and I haven't landed on it. All right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Roadhouse is proud to welcome.
Well, I can start with my fish.
There was a fish in the percolator.
It is between, God damn, these people are confusing, and the specials, we don't have any. But I feel like I just have to give it to Carl, because I just love him so much. So, yeah.
Damn, these people are confusing.
Well, that's funny, because I feel like his funniest thing is it just means more shit I gotta do now.
I just empathize with that too much to find it funny.
All right. My fish then is going to be, do you want to hear our specials? We don't have any.
You want to hear about our specials? We don't have any.
Solid choice. Irene rules.
Yeah.
Okay, ceiling fan.
Well, this one easy for me now that I realize
Yeah.
this part 1 is the, I can't even
It's
say
the
it, like the
fingernail,
fingernail.
yeah.
He takes the whole thing off. Like, I can't not feel it.
Oh, I know. It's horrible.
Yeah. Like, I know she's dead. She doesn't feel it, but
I know. It's
you
rough.
really see it.
And you know what she did feel was, well, maybe she didn't feel the letter going in there, but she felt a lot of other
She
shit.
might have.
Yeah. For me, it's, I want to stay right where I am. Just because of the look on his face, like, he's so scared. Even if I didn't know, like, what he was scared about, I would be like, okay, some shitty, scary stuff happened to this guy.
Yeah.
I just want to stay where I am.
So, yeah, Carl again. I love Carl.
You love Carl. Bags loves Carl.
All right. I'm sorry. LVP. I sort of tipped my hand a little bit. LVP.
Why don't you say yours?
Sam Stanley.
Yeah.
He did not stay
Not
by Chet's
very
side.
valuable. Yeah. That's a good one. There's a lot of people who don't, I don't know. I have Cable on there just because, like...
Yeah, I mean, if anything, he was, like, impeding the investigation.
A Cable, more like, or something there.
Yes, definitely. And we can put our ACAB jingle in here. It's a good choice. And then MVP.
This is hard. I'm very torn between two people, but I gotta go with my heart. Just give it to Lil because it's just so good.
No, I love it.
It's
That's
such
perfect.
an iconic. Yeah, and it was me for Halloween one year. It's just so funny.
It's really funny. It's iconic, and I do feel like
and she gives
it's
a lot of
meaningful.
information.
Yeah.
Yes, it is valuable. She gives them a lot of information.
Yeah, they're very prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I went with Philip Jeffries.
Oh.
Because he's going through some stuff.
Yeah.
He basically lost his life to his job because he was an FBI agent doing the Blue Rose case. That's why he's long lost, and a teapot eventually is bad. And he mentions Judy.
Right.
They cut back to that in the return. It's a very important moment and a very important scene. And Cooper had a dream about him.
Right.
Philip just helps unlock a lot of Blue Rose stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very helpful. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that he didn't make it out, but it seems like everyone who goes balls deep in the Blue Rose
Right.
doesn't come back from it.
Yeah.
So, woohoo! So now we cut to yay, the Twin Peaks theme, the sign. 1 year later.
Hey, yeah, that's so exciting when the theme comes on.
Yeah, and I wonder if people in the theater were like, thank God, we're finally gonna get the answers.
Right.
We're in Twin Peaks now.
Okay, what was all of that? Now it's Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Right?
Just regular Twin Peaks.
Right.
We know what we're in for from now on.
Right.
We're very prepared.
It's gonna be this fun, quirky show.
And we see Laura walking down the street. She's holding her school books. She looks very Norman Rockwell in Everett, right next to the Palmer house.
You were there.
Yes. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful house.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Reber is such a great Insta follow if you like Twin Peaks, because she always posts pictures of the house and with Halloween decorations, Bob in the window, the house with the beautiful sunset. Everett's gorgeous. I think Donna's house was also in Everett. I don't think it was exactly down the street, but it was close. Beautiful green craftsman. She stops outside Donna's house and shouts for her. Donna! Whoa, who's this? This is not the Donna we know.
Right.
But it is a Donna we will come to love.
Yes. I love her right away. I mean, I have never loved Laura Flynn Boyle's Donna.
Yeah.
So if anyone's going to get replaced, that's not bad. Moira Kelly has more of that look that David Lynch seems to love, you know?
Actually, she looks more like Sheryl Fenn, too. She's
She-
Ben Horn's daughter.
She just has like that
Yeah.
very like Twin Peaks beauty look.
Yeah.
You know?
She's gorgeous. She's
Yeah.
I mean, Laura Flynn Boyle, not pretty, but yeah, she just fits better. I feel like she just fits better in this world.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Laura Flynn Boyle might even agree. She never goes to conventions or anything. She's like
Oh,
really
wow.
distanced
She's
herself.
way-
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I kind of wish we'd had this done all the time, but we have her now. I really love right away their rapport is obvious.
Uh-huh.
And when you read The Secret Diary, that's something that Laura was really conflicted about, was like how much she loved Donna and they've been friends forever and ever. But Donna's just so straight-laced that she felt like Donna couldn't understand what she was going through.
Yeah.
And she's probably right in some respects. She was really scared that Donna was going to tell her dad anything she told her, so she couldn't tell her anything. She was sure that Donna would be like, I'm worried about you, so I ratted on you.
Right.
And I bet she was right about that.
Right.
But this Donna is a good friend, her best friend. So they're walking toward the school. Then they pass Mike and Bobby on a convertible. Mike and Bobby sitting on the hood. Snake and Bopper.
Yeah, Mike, you're the real man.
That's right. Mike is the man. Mike is the man.
And Bobby's so cute.
Laura Palmer. See you later.
I love Bobby.
Twin Peaks High School. Just a couple of little vignettes. Laura walking up the stairs with Donna. James stops her. They exchange looks. Donna watching from behind. I do feel like she could give Donna a little bit more credit. And then they continue to class. Laura has to dip into the bathroom for a little bump. A lot of clocks. I think clocks are a motif, because not just like the flip clock, but...
You do see the clocks a lot.
Yeah. It's 2:30. Again, this was a scene they shot where they're like, we're going to meet in the place at 2:30. And then we don't need that. We just need to see them looking at each other and then cut to the place at 2:30.
Right. I really appreciate that. That's like a movie pet peeve of mine when it's like, let's make these plans and here are the plans.
Right.
You know, or the voiceover that says the thing that you're looking at.
Yeah. Just really great minimalist storytelling. I guess the only reason I wish they had said where they were meeting is because I can't figure out where they're meeting. What is this place? Like, there's janitor supplies, but it's like a big cement room.
Yeah, I was so confused. Like, it's like the boiler room? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I have no idea. I feel like it's near the gym because she's got the towel.
Yeah,
it's like she just took
like
a shower
in a towel
or something. But she didn't because her hair's not wet. I don't know.
Right.
She walks in, they're making out. It doesn't seem like a very comfortable, nice place to make out, but another thing we learn in the Secret Diary is one of the reasons Laura was just always making out with guys is because it was one of the few things that quieted her brain.
Aww.
Meanwhile, we're in the hallway. Bobby is talking to Laura's homecoming picture, which is adorable.
Yeah.
Hey, baby.
That's where he shuffles towards it. I love Bobby's like shuffle / swagger. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so young boy.
Childlike,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
No, he is a boy.
Imagine I want him to like hit the
I bet he does do that. He like slaps raptors
does,
for sure.
Right? Hopefully that phase ends.
So there is a little Secret Diary quote about that picture that I wanted to mention. Again, I want to do an episode about the Secret Diary, but this is what Laura says about taking that picture.
I feel like a fake, even though I was homecoming queen. I had such a story behind my smile in the photos. I still felt the hands and the mouths of the men I had been with hours before the photo was taken. It felt like the school and the town and the world were mocking me by voting me homecoming queen. How could they not see how I was being swallowed up by pain? How dare they make me a spectacle like that and ask me to smile again and again and again?
Woo! So that picture, it's just full of secrets.
Yeah.
Back to James and Laura, and this is another mid-conversation, which is so great, because if you read the start of the conversation, you don't need it.
Right? You hardly need anything, James says. So.
Such a good point. Shut the fuck up, James.
You got to shut the fuck up, James. It does matter. We're in love. James, you don't know what you're talking about. Quit trying to hold on so tight.
But I do love this series of Laura lines that I think about all the time.
I'm gone. Long gone. Like a turkey in the corn. Not a turkey. A turkey's one of the dumbest birds on earth.
I'm gone, long gone, like a turkey in the corn.
Oh, she's so weird.
She's
like,
really weird.
Like, it doesn't totally fit to me. Like, I mean, I know that's the point, but it's like, oh, this popular girl, a homecoming queen and all that. And I was like,
yeah,
she's pretty weird.
Yeah. She's such an interesting person. I can't even believe that one reviewer was like, not seeing any of it. What are you talking about?
Jesus, what compels you?
Right, what do you need? I love her extremely mournful delivery of gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble is like one of the funniest things that ever happens. Like, gobble, gobble, gobble.
Tears in her eyes.
Laura, don't it?
She doesn't want to. And then kiss down out of the frame, which is funny. The only reason I wish that we saw where they went after that is because that's a cement floor, probably. Like, can you please show a mattress or something? I really don't want to think about them doing it on the cement floor. Cut to outside school, Laura walking with Donna. Donna, she's wearing this outfit before, but I just have to mention, as gorgeous as Moira Kelly is, it's a typical bad Donna outfit.
Right.
Oh my lord. A huge, hideous, multi-pattern blazer. I can't even describe the patterns. They're crazy.
Right.
Awful, awful. Later on, she borrows Laura's jacket, and I'm like, okay, Laura, if you don't want her borrowing your stuff, can you at least go shopping with her?
Right.
She needs help. Bobby approaches, all pissed.
Hey, where were you for the last hour? I've been looking all over for you.
I was standing right behind you, but you're too dumb to turn around.
You don't want to know.
Right.
And then this is Laura being a little mean.
You turned around, you might get dizzy.
Where were you? I'm not kidding around. Who were you with?
Get lost, Bobby.
She's very Nomi Malone.
Yes.
Where it's just like, what was that for, right? You're too dumb to know. Like, Laura.
Jesus.
Jeez.
And Bobby, appropriately wounded.
Right.
Oh, yeah? You'll be calling soon and maybe I won't be around.
But then that's a challenge to her that she rises to immediately, which is she's able to get him to smile just by saying, come on.
Come on, Bobby. Come on. Slow. Come on.
Love you, babe.
Which, again, in the script, she's like, smile for me, Bobby. Come on, give me a smile.
Aw.
It's like, you don't need any of that.
Right.
It's actually more powerful this way.
Totally, yeah. That she just like turns on the charm. Okay.
Yeah, he immediately crumbles.
Yeah.
And then does the most amazing shuffle back into the school. Lovely. Like, it's so long. All the way back across this lawn. Backwards. Which I appreciated. Again, I didn't notice this until, like, this last watch. All the people walking behind him, because he's going backwards. A, they had to be careful choreography so that he didn't bump into them. And B, I think they're dancing. I think some other people are dancing.
It does sort of seem like that.
Which is kind of fun to think about. It's a dance party. It's really weird stuff. It's great. Cut to the Hayward house. Just gorgeous, gorgeous scene here. I love the scene so much. I love the decoration. Eileen Hayward's got some problems, but I really like the way she decorates her house.
Yeah.
That pink carpet, it's like a dusty pink. It's so beautiful. And all the green furniture that's like Victorian. I don't know. It's really gorgeous. And I love how Laura's lying, feet up on the recliner and her head on the ottoman.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous overhead shot.
Are you going to see James tonight? Why are you suddenly so interested in who I'm going to see at night? Nighttime is my time. You're telling me. That's only because you won't let me in on any of it.
Another conversation already in progress. In the
Right.
script, they're talking a lot about James before this. We don't need it. Why are you suddenly so interested in who I'm going to see at night? Nighttime is my time. It's because she's worried about you. And then Donna tipping her hand a little bit about her crush on James.
Right. Yeah. James is the one.
Yeah.
He loves you with that everlasting love. True love.
The one for who?
Right.
And I love Laura's response. She's like rolling her eyes.
Right.
Yes, James is very sweet. Why don't you get out your violin, Donna?
What's that even mean?
I know. Is it like world's tiniest violin?
Right,
Or
it
like-
sort of seems like that's what she means.
Or it's like she's so in love with James that she could play a song on a violin. I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't know what she means by it. It's funny,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. I like lines like that. I don't know if this is the intention, but just when people have real conversations, it doesn't always come out the way they want it to. You have to.
I love
backtrack,
that. You
yeah.
know, I love when people say something sort of not that smart or clever, you
Yeah.
know.
Or does it completely make sense?
Right. Or it doesn't sound like a line that a screenwriter, you know, editing and writing, you know.
Yes. Then Donna says, I wonder if Mike could ever write a poem. And Laura is actually pretty subdued with how much she doesn't laugh at that. Oh my God, Mike. She giggles a bit, but then Donna gets like really cool and existential. We never see this Donna in the original series.
Do you think that if you were falling in space, that you would slow down after a while or go faster and faster?
I really like how long Laura thinks about it, the question.
Right.
I feel like this is insight into their... Because earlier in the conversation, they're talking about the distance between them. Mm-hmm. And then this is like their bond. How they're able to just say this stuff to each other.
Right.
Really beautiful.
Faster and faster. And for a long time, you wouldn't feel anything. And then you'd burst into fire. Forever. And the angels wouldn't help you. Because they've all gone away.
Also super sad. Because the angels wouldn't help you because they've all gone away. Oh, no. She's right, though.
Right.
Then cut to the Palmer house, and there is definitely some slightly ominous music on the exterior and that heart-shaped wreath, which there's several cuts back to this exterior with the heart-shaped wreath on the door. Pretending like it's a place of love, but there's not love happening in there.
Right.
Laura enters very cautiously. No one's home. I remember this feeling.
Right.
Such a wonderful feeling. Like, I'm a teenager alone in my house. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna really unwind.
Was your mom usually home when you came home from school?
Almost always.
Okay. Yeah, I had a working mom, so that was like regular.
It's just so nice. Even though, I had my own room or whatever, but it's just really freeing. She's listening to kind of a crazy song. It's called A Real Indication. And of course it's written by Angela Badalamenti and the Thought Gang, which I feel like might be like a David Lynch pseudonym, but yeah, the lyrics are very Lynchian. But just as she's settling in on her bed with a cigarette and her journal, she notices some pages are ripped out, and it's accompanied by like the scariest ripping sounds of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Horrifying.
Yeah.
And she looks appropriately horrified. Frantically drives to Harold's house. Another cut scene where she like asks her mom if she can borrow the car.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
totally.
is like trying to be cool about it. We don't need that. We don't need any of it. Goes to Harold's house. I love when Harold is like, Bob isn't real. Her response is perfect.
Yeah.
And like so exasperated.
Who would do that?
Bob.
But Bob is not real.
There are pages torn out. That is real, Harold.
Well, maybe.
Bob is real. He's been having me since I was 12. And the diary was hidden too well. There is no other person who could have known where it was.
He's one of the only person she's confided in.
Right.
And he's not even believing her.
Right.
How fucking frustrating.
Like, I know. God, I cannot stand Harold anyway.
No.
Like, he has like agoraphobia. Why isn't he a little sensitive to people's stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Your thing is okay. The outside, like, is that real? You know, like,
I know.
What's the reality that you are living right here that we respect? And why are you just deciding Bob's not real? Like, based on what? Why is
I know.
You know? Bob's not real. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gross.
I know.
Harold sucks.
Yes.
Okay, and then it gets really scary, of course.
He's getting to know me now. He speaks to me. He says he wants to be me or he'll kill me.
No.
Yes! Yes!
This is the first time we're ever hearing outside the diary what Bob wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be me or he'll kill me.
Right.
And then he gets in for a second.
Fire. Walk with me.
We've seen a face like that before on Wyndham Earl.
Right. Oh, right.
It's like Touched by a Lodge. White face paint and black lips. And Wyndham Earl, the whole inside of his mouth was black too, which is really scary. Laura thinks the diary is safe there. She says it's because he doesn't know about you, but I don't know why she thinks that, because she does write about Harold in her diary before she brings it to him. She doesn't write a lot about him, but she does mention him.
Huh.
It works, though.
Right.
Bob never finds it there. Then some kissing, which, like, again, it always bothered me that she was doing that until I realized she's just trying to shut that shit out.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's the only reason you would kiss Harold. And then she says,
I don't know when I can come back. Maybe never.
and she's right.
Yeah.
It's never. And then she leaves. And of course, he can't follow her because of his dumb phobia. That is real.
I mean, it's real. I don't want to be disrespecting agoraphobes.
That's true.
It's just
Be
annoying that he is so dismissive of what someone else is going through.
And she came to him to ask for help, and he didn't help in any way, really. Right. I did put this in here because how horrifying it is that Laura's kissing annoying old Harold. In the diary, she says,
I am beginning to truly become what Bob told me I would. A fallen girl. Misused. Mistrusted. Lost. Love, sex, and drugs because they are always there. Making me feel the high I expect. No surprises.
little motivation there for her. And then we're back at the Palmer house. Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah.
This is something that part of it is cut, but I feel like it shouldn't have been. This is a missing piece that could be put back in. And a lot of people will reference it. She gets trapped under the ceiling fan. And you hear Bob say, I want to taste through your mouth, which is super fucking scary.
I want to taste
In the missing piece, he also gets in for a second.
Oh.
And that's when you might have seen the picture with her, like, really big grin, the Bob grin.
Yeah.
You see what we can do.
No. No.
I don't know why they cut that. That seems really important.
That does seem like, Mom, can I borrow the car? Not important.
Yes.
But, like, Bob gets in for a minute. I don't know.
Right. Like, he's getting in. He's starting to get in. That's really scary. It's ramping up the danger. I have a secret diary footnote from June 22nd, 1986, where she's thinking back on how it started and kind of like why she hasn't said anything to her parents.
He always knew exactly what scared me and just the things to say to make me cry.
He would cut her between her legs, inside her mouth. Hundreds of tiny cuts, she writes.
Sometimes he would cut me between my legs, and other times he would cut me inside my mouth. Always tiny little cuts, hundreds of tiny little cuts. I had to use a flashlight in the bathroom, or else my parents might wake up and see the light, and I'd be in worse trouble then.
Yikes. Yeah. There's a couple references of, like, I don't want to tell my parents because they won't understand. Or
Right.
And she's not exactly wrong.
Right. It's not going to help.
Yeah,
to tell
it's
her
definitely
parents.
not. All right, and then we're back in Philadelphia.
Yay.
There's Coop being all psychic and shit. With Albert.
Lately, I've been filled with the knowledge that the killer will strike again. One more thing, Albert. When the next murder happens, you will help me solve it. Let's test it for the record.
This is kind of fun, Albert. He's being open to it, even though he's skeptical.
Yeah.
Albert says, let's test it for the record. And he asks a series of questions.
Will the next victim be a man or a woman? A woman. All right. What color hair will she have? Blonde. Tell me some other things about her. She's in high school. She is sexually active. She's using drugs. She's crying out for help. Well, damn, Cooper, that really narrows it down. You're talking about half the high school girls in America.
But then he says,
What's she doing right now?
something more specific. And Cooper, very accurately, he, like, thinks about it for a second.
Yeah.
She's preparing a great abundance of food.
This is even more significant.
But because it is just a feeling, I am powerless to stop it.
Oh.
What a motif. That's a Twin Peaks motif right there.
Right.
Woo! Double R Diner, hooray! Our first time at the Double R Diner in this movie.
This is really funny to me. The Shelley
The whole
scene.
thing. Oh my god. I'm busy.
I was doing this.
I was doing this.
I was busy. I was doing this.
That is really
I'm like,
funny.
I want to like remember that. I'm doing this. Can you help it? No, I'm doing this.
Heidi's got a bloody nose.
Bloody nose?
Do you think you could give Laura a hand with Meals on Wheels?
I was busy. I was doing this.
You're not that busy.
She ends up, of course, having to just do the whole thing. But
I know.
It's funny.
Yeah,
'cause
she
Heidi,
gets hosed big time.
She does. Heidi was supposed to help, but she has a bloody nose.
Right.
I feel like she and Heidi have like a little rivalry. Well, maybe not a rivalry, but like she's like annoyed by Heidi a lot of the time.
Right.
Heidi's always late.
Right.
She rips on Heidi because of it. So the reason she has to do it is because Laura, while she's in the parking lot putting the food in the station wagon for the Meals on Wheels, we all know this was one of her many activities. And again, Secret Diary, she's like, I'm doing so much shit because it's distracting. It's all I can do to keep from thinking about the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
She's approached by good old Mrs. Tremont, Chalamond, Trefont, and her creepy grandson. Oh yeah, the other thing is, in IMDb, it says her name is Mrs. Tremont, parentheses, Chalfont.
Oh.
Also, the IMDb says that the kid is Mrs. Tremont's grandson, but it is the same character from Twin Peaks whose name is Pierre, so.
Oh, okay.
It's Pierre. And he says some scary shit.
The man behind the mask is looking for the book with the pages torn out. He is going toward the hiding place. He is under the fan
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Mm-hmm. And that's scary enough.
Laura reasonably freaks out.
Mm-hmm. He's under the fan now. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Laura knows. I mean, she kind of knows what is happening at first, but she still looks a little confused until he says he's under the fan now, and then she's like, okay, I know exactly what that means. But before Laura takes off, Mrs. Chalfont hands her a framed picture of an empty room, old-fashioned rose wallpaper, and an open door.
This would look nice on your wall.
It does look nice on the wall. I have one on my wall.
Oh, nice.
But not in my bedroom.
No.
Because fuck that.
Mm-mm.
I never want to wake up and see that picture. Oh, the other interesting thing is, like, right when they are walking across the parking lot, there's, like, a quick sort of superimposition of fuzzy television static.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes me think, again, evil electricity, like, maybe Bob turned the TV on with the static because there's something there before he killed Theresa. Something about that.
Yeah.
Television is the root of all evil. Network television certainly can be. So then, cut to her house. There is a ceiling fan sound throughout the scene. And as we know, the ceiling fan in Twin Peaks is not like a regular ceiling. It's like a demonic, low-toned, whooshy, terrifying thing. It's amazing that I can even have a ceiling fan. She creeps through the house. Everything kind of has like a pinkish glow to it. I like to think that's maybe it was shot at golden hour or something.
Oh.
Because it's so subtle, but it's consistent. And it's like in every room. Or maybe it was just a light, I don't know. So she peers into her room and sees Bob behind the dresser, where she hides her diary. She tapes it to the wall. He looks right at her. Terrifying growl. Close-up of his uvula. Contender for a ceiling fan.
There was a lot of uvula in that. That was very funny. Matt and I were watching it together, and our first picture that we ever took together, he was doing a selfie of the light like was so much brighter than we expected. And he was like, you can see my uvula.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's always been a little thing between us. Like, when you can see a uvula.
Uvula lighting.
We were watching it, and when that, we're like, uvula!
Aw, that's adorable.
Cute, yeah.
I'm glad you could make light
I'll
of
find
such a
the photo
horrible
for you,
scene.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was a special moment for
Yes, that's great. I'm glad you're not traumatized by uvulas like Laura
No,
probably
it's a
is
special
from
thing.
then on. She screams and runs out of the house and hides under a bush. Fun fact, Mary Reber told us that people will take pictures under that bush.
Of course. I mean...
She's gotten lots of questions from neighbors about, like, why people lie down under the bush and take a picture. She's like, you just have to watch Firewalkers.
I know. How do you live by the house and question it? You gotta know the lore if you're gonna live by it.
So she's under the bush, and who does she see jauntily stepping out of the door a few moments later, but Leland Palmer looking all done up.
Yeah. Very neat tie, right?
Yes. Hair, all of it. He's just got that Bob energy. Ugh.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No, 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 no,
Secret diary footnote. Last entry undated.
I know exactly who and what Bob is. And I have to tell everyone. I have to tell someone and make them believe. I'm so afraid that no one will believe me until after I have taken the seat that I fear has been saved for me in the darkness. Please, diary, help me explain to everyone that I did not want what I have become. I only did what any of us can do in any situation. My very best. Love, Laura.
Niagara Falls. Oh my God. She's so wise and so doomed, and it's awful. So then we cut to the Hayward house. Another scene that started... No, actually, this starts here, but ends early. Donna answers the door.
Donna, are you my best friend?
Of course. What is it, Laura? What's wrong?
It's a frantic Laura, and this is also the same Laura that we see in The Return. Gordon opens his hotel room door and sees a sort of ghostly Laura. It's that Laura.
Oh, okay.
The cry for help Laura, I guess. She's like, I fucking need some help.
Help me, Laura.
Yeah. Donna, are you my best friend? And Donna invites her in to comfort her, and then it cuts, which is great. If it hadn't cut, it would have been a whole needless scene about, like, are you okay? Doc Hayward's there. This is where Warren Frost showed up. Don't need any of it.
Did, right.
We never need Doc Hayward.
No.
Also, it's noteworthy that we never see Kirsten or Harriet in this movie.
Tell me where, oh, where is Kirsten?
Then it cuts back to the Palmer house right away. So she got some comfort, but it was cold comfort, not enough comfort. Right. There was no comfort in the world.
I mean, yeah. There's not much you can do.
No, not much. This whole scene is like a contender for the fucking ceiling fan for me. Oh my God. Even if it weren't about a guy possessed by an evil entity. Well, especially if it weren't, I guess. Terrifying, violent dad. Ellis is a prisoner in this house.
Yeah.
This is where I really feel bad for Sarah. Laura comes in. Leland's sitting all upright and neat at the table. Mm-hmm. It's funny because he's casual-ish. Like, he kind of like Mr. Rogers when he got home.
Yeah.
But still very neat.
Right. He's
kept the tie on.
Yeah.
Important to keep the tie on. The tie is everything.
Well, the tie is your clue. Yeah.
So Laura comes in and she tries to walk past him and go upstairs. And this is also just kind of like a relatable teenager moment. Where you're like, please don't ask me any questions. I would like to go to my room.
Hi, honey. How's Donna? School?
School's fine.
Sit down.
The other interesting thing, and I don't know if it's completely clear, like I didn't really realize it until we were in Mary Reber's house, about the stairs. There's like two ways up the stairs. Mm-hmm. It just never occurred to me before, that interesting thing about you walk in the front door, there's the stairs, you go up, or you can go around into the kitchen on the on the other side. Super interesting. Unusual, what a weird layout. And like perfect. Right. Whoever the location scout was on this movie, Kristen Kapp and Julie Duvik. Genius. Genius.
Are you hungry?
Not really.
Are you hungry? Yikes. He asks her how Donna is, how's Bobby, very nosy, fixates on her necklace. Which again, this is just a Twin Peaks hot prob, but the best friends necklace, and it is a best friends necklace.
Right.
It says
It says
friends. But it is
lover.
But it is from James.
Right.
So he like somehow knows that.
Right.
Oh, look at this.
Don't.
Is it from a lover? Did you get this from your lover?
They don't call them lovers in high school, Leland.
Bobby didn't give you this.
How do you know that Bobby didn't give her that?
Did Bobby give you this? Or is there someone new?
They don't call them lovers in high school.
Anywhere. Like,
No.
really
Nobody says that.
Yeah.
And then you didn't wash your hands. Oh my god. He really fixates on the hands.
I know, well, he told her to sit down, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Of course she didn't. She
Right.
couldn't have. Very
When do you
classic.
think she did that?
Right, exactly.
Sit down. Did you wash your hands? Like, well, no.
But Laura's too terrified
Right.
to be flippant.
He's being so psycho.
He grabs her hand.
These hands are filthy. Look. There's dirt way under this fingernail.
Of course, guess which hand he grabs and guess which finger he
Yeah.
obsesses about.
Right.
There's dirt way under this fingernail.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Oh, yes. It really is. Then Sarah finally pipes in. It takes him grabbing her fingernail violently and then saying, "Did you get this from your lover?"
Your lover. Gross.
And then, this is just a Lynch thing. Cheek squeezing. Face grabbing, cheek squeezing.
He does a real prolonged cheek squeeze
Yes.
there.
It's so long and it looks violent, but I think it's acting, right? Because afterwards,
Right,
she
yeah.
doesn't have a red mark on her face or
No.
anything. I'm sure that Ray Wise is being as gentle as he possibly
Aw.
could be.
Ray Wise a peach.
The sweetest man. I do have a fun fact. I don't think I knew this last time we recorded. I met someone who shadowed celebrities at Emerald City Comic Con.
Oh, okay.
And she's been doing it for many years. And so I asked her, like, who is the rudest person she ever shadowed and who is the nicest person she ever shadowed.
Oh.
And the rudest person was Brent Spiner from Star Trek.
I have heard that a
Yeah.
lot about that guy.
She said he was
What
just
a
awful.
dick,
I know.
right? Like,
But the nicest person was Ray
Aw,
Wise.
of course. Of course.
She said she loved him so much and she was really sad when the weekend was over.
Aw.
Really great guy. But he's playing the ultimate evil and he does it really well. How do you know what she likes?
Leave her alone. Don't do that. She doesn't like that.
How do you know what she likes?
Stop it! Stop it!
It's like a 5-way tie for ceiling fan. Everything that happens in this scene.
Get that from your lover.
Jesus Christ. Sarah asks Leland to sit down and he says,
Oh, I'll sit down. But not a one of us is going to start eating until Laura washes her hands. Wash your hands!
and then finally Laura gets to go wash her hands.
Right.
And she's, of course, sobbing in the bathroom. And I can't imagine she's in any hurry to get back to that table.
Right.
Dinner must have been really fucking awful, but we don't see the rest of it, mercifully.
Right.
Because he's still Bob when they cut to the next scene, the clock transition. This is like a Fire Walk With Me special, the clock transition.
Yeah.
10:34 turns to 10:35. And it happens so slowly. I love it. Sarah looking into the mirror, and Leland is behind her. You see him facing away on the bed. He's way bobbing.
Yeah.
Cut to a close-up of Ray Wise's face, and it's just the most amazing acting.
Yeah. He's
You
so good.
see Bob leave him.
What is it, Leland?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it blows my mind every time I see it. Overcome with guilt. Something that Laura mentions, I didn't write the passage down exactly, but he says something about you feel and you remember what I want you to feel and remember.
Mm-hmm.
He says to Laura. So obviously true with Leland too.
Right.
He loves doing that. He loves making him forget things and making him remember things or making him know just enough that he's upset. And again, this is a scene that part of it was cut. In the original scene, after he becomes overcome with guilt, he has a conversation with Sarah about how he hasn't said he loves Laura in a while, so he's going to go to her room and do that. Don't eat it. Yeah. Good cut. He goes to a room. What a beautiful scene. Terrifying, sad, but also kind of beautiful. Mm-hmm. Because in this moment, he remembers enough to know that he needs to tell her he loves her.
Right.
And then the way that she says dad in such a questioning way.
Right.
Woo!
Yeah. Like,
beautiful.
She's like, who's that?
Yeah. Right. Because she knows it wasn't dad earlier. Or she's just generally not sure who the fuck is anybody anymore. Which is also fair.
Right.
Laura, honey, I love you. I love you so much. Good night, Princess.
Good night, princess. And then just like amazing Sheryl crying.
Yeah.
She just acts the fuck out of this movie. She looks up at her picture. I guess I haven't mentioned this before. There's the picture in her room.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a painting, 3 kids sitting around a table. There's a dog, too, sitting in the chair. And an angel is, like, serving them tea or something.
Yeah.
It's a sweet picture. It makes you think she's had that since she was a baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very little kid looking.
She looks at the angel in the picture and asks the angel if it's true.
Yeah.
If her dad is really Bob, then the camera goes all blurry and pans to the tips of the angel's wings. I don't know why that happens, but it's interesting. It's noteworthy. And then she remembers about the picture, which she left outside of the bush. She was so fucked up about it earlier that she just completely left the picture under the bush. Like, that's just a nice detail.
Mm-hmm.
She hangs it up and goes to bed. And we go inside the picture. Yikes.
Yeah.
Where Mrs. Trefont, whatever, is there pointing the way through the door. This is just amazing photography.
Yeah.
It's like so simple.
Right.
So
That's
spooky.
I'm like, why is it so scary and spooky? Like the picture comes alive. It's like a real door, man.
It's a real room.
Ah,
And then it leads to another room.
Right.
Oh my god, I'm terrified. I mean, I guess it does kind of look like a derelict place. And it is lodgy.
Yeah.
In the return, we go into a place that's kind of like this. Mm. The lodge is just like a bunch of dilapidated rooms and places. The Black Lodge part of it. The White Lodge, very nice little mansion on a on a seaside cliff, but the Black Lodge is pretty terrible. Yeah. We see Pierre in there. He snaps. Then we get, well, the closed captioning said loud ambient roaring. I appreciated like a name for that sound.
Right.
And then we're in the red room, the waiting room, and it's the man from another place who, this is the first time he introduces himself as the Arm.
Yeah. I know. I forgot that he was the Arm. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am? I am the Arm. And I sound like this.
And he also says, I sound like this, and he does a whoop, 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 which is the same whooping that he does with the waiter / giant.
When does he do whooping with the waiter?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just some catchphrases, I guess. He's got the ring. It's the marble tabletop. Is it future? Is it past? Then he picks up the ring and holds it to the camera, breaking the fourth wall.
Right.
I guess breaking the fourth wall just happens in the red room. Because Coop does it next. Oh, you love a rack focus. I wrote that down. You see the Arm's face, and then a rack focuses to the ring.
Yay.
Pretty cool. Coop says,
Don't take the ring, Laura.
And here's where I want to talk about that ring catch-22 that I only barely understand.
Yeah. Okay.
We know that when you wear the ring, it makes you go to the lodge when you die.
Right.
Coop says don't take the ring. But if she doesn't take the ring, Bob can get inside her. Like, it's putting the ring on that keeps her from being possessed.
Right.
I don't know why Coop thinks she shouldn't take the ring.
Why is he saying don't take the ring?
Because the Arm isn't exactly a good guy. He's kind of...
No.
He's chaotic.
Right.
So, I don't know. Did he, like, confuse Coop into thinking she shouldn't take the ring? Because he wants his Garmonbozia.
Right. And then there's the whole other thing with Coop and his ring that he gives to the giant.
Right.
Right. I don't really know why he's like, don't take the ring.
Yeah. He's very sure. Although, this is a theme with Coop.
That's true,
Being
right?
super sure and super wrong about things. So maybe that's part of it. It's just Coop, again, being very sure and very wrong, and this is how we get into the Coop Loop. The Coop Loop, Coop Loop, Coop Loop.
What year is this?
Right, yeah. This is the ring loop, I guess.
Yeah. Ooh, your ring is a loop.
It's a ring, I know, I was going to say. It's right there.
Oh my god. Laura wakes up in bed, clutching her left arm.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I thought about this last watch that I never thought about before is... I don't know if this is like a getting older thing, bad circulation, like just the last couple years, I'll like wake up with my arm asleep.
Yeah.
So I just thought of that. But she was waking up clutching her arm. I'm like, I do that a lot now.
Right. That's why my ponytail holder is on my water bottle instead of my wrist. Because whichever wrist it's on, I wake up, that hand is like, no, I'm not moving.
I know.
Like, just this?
It's
like,
not even that tight.
It's
so
not.
weird.
I know.
What is that?
I mean, I'm just thinking, like, does it keep going when you're, like, really old? You wake up and you're like...
I can't feel anything.
Right.
I can't move.
Like,
I hope not.
A little help here.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
No.
Woo! She looks at her door and then turns back into her bed. And Annie, good old Annie, wearing that Caroline dress,
That was
blood
so
on her
wild
face.
to see her. I, like, totally forgot she was in this and that she says that.
My name is Annie. I've been with Dale and Laura. The good Dale is in the lodge, and he can't leave. Write it in your diary.
I've been with Laura and Dale, which again, I didn't think about that before. I'm like, you've been with Laura and Dale in the lodge?
Right.
Is it future? Is it past?
Right.
Whoa. The good Dale is in the lodge and he can't leave. He's already in the lodge before she dies.
Right.
Write it in your diary. What the fuck? It all seems pretty fatalistic at this point, doesn't it?
It's the prequel to Twin Peaks, so you know what it's leading up to.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like more than foreshadowing. It's like portends. It's funny to me a little bit that she only makes a scared noise when Annie disappears.
Right.
But then she's even more scared when she looks at her hand and sees the ring because someone just
said don't take it.
But then that's still a part of her dream. Then she gets out of bed. And then this is the craziest shot. This is the craziest shot in this whole scene. One of the craziest shots in the movie, I think. Where she looks through the door and then looks back over her shoulder and sees herself looking back over her shoulder.
Yeah.
Wow. Again, so simple, but it's so creepy.
Right.
And so dreamy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we've mentioned this before. David Lynch is just a master at dreams. Mm-hmm. Like, he really makes them feel
he really
real.
gets the vibe of it. Dreams are so inaccurate in movies. Something, you know, like...
They make too much sense.
Normal. Yeah, exactly.
And they feel too regular. Even in, like, the happiest of dreams, there's always some weird shit going on. You're like...
Right, or it's like something's happening in a dream that just makes dream sense. You know? It's like, I'm an adult, but also I'm living in my childhood home or something.
Yes. Oh, my God. I have that one all the time.
I live in my childhood home so much in my dreams.
It's so wild. I've lived in this house so much longer than I lived in that house at this point. It's wild. I still have dreams about that house.
Yeah.
Or the dream where I didn't go to a class all semester.
I know. Those are broke, though. In the dream, it's like, you are an adult, you don't have to be here.
Oh, nice.
And that happened a couple times, and now I finally, like, don't have that dream.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Lucid. You got lucid.
I did.
I like that.
Although my dreams are basically always terrible, though. So I just have dreams where, like, Dash is drowning or something, you know. Yeah, I have dreams about Dash dying a lot. Yeah. Like,
I'm so
I always
sorry.
have. I know, it's terrible. And what's
really
weird is, you know, this is a total sidetrack, but in the middle of the night, if Matt gets up to pee or something, I'll a little bit wake up, and I am so funny and, like, like, talk, like, super weird. You know, like, oh, I love you so much. The calculator's don't work. You know, it's like totally crazy, like weird, but always like super happy. But my actual dreams are like, someone's trying to murder my son.
Oh my God.
I know.
Well, maybe you're just so happy to be a little bit awake.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, thank God.
Right. Yeah. Once in a while, I wake up and I'm like, oh, Thank God. That was just a dream.
That is
I know I
awful.
have a horrible dream life.
I have had 3 dreams where Frankie died, and I remember them all very well. So I'm glad I didn't have more than that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
One of them was in the street at 8th Avenue. You know how people go so fast?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously another tangent. But it's sort of related to Twin Peaks because of that scene in The Return where that little boy gets hit by a car. It's like out on 8th Avenue, and Frankie's crossing the street or riding his bike. Someone just fucking mowed him over.
Right.
Oh, horrible.
Yeah. My dreams, it's like usually like something's happening to him and I can't stop it.
Oh.
I know. Like the worst.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Oh my God. Anyway, great dream guide, David Lynch. Oh, and then the last thing that happens after the door in the picture, she goes through the door, but then she's like looking at herself through the picture. She sees she's asleep. Mm-hmm. And then she wakes up. So dreamy. So dreamy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when she wakes up, she doesn't have the ring, so at least, I don't know. It's nice when something not completely terrifying is happening to Laura, I guess.
Right.
But then she turns the picture upside down on her desk.
Yeah. Fair.
Good move. I would have done that also. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say just about the dreaminess of that whole part with walking to the door and looking at the picture. I was like trying to figure out, besides the logic of it, why it feels so dreamy, and she's actually moving like super slow.
Oh.
But not so slow that it looks like she's moving slow. It's like a very perfect pace where it just feels a little wrong. Or maybe there was like some frame rate or something going on there.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But I bet it was just as simple as...
Yeah, I bet
this
it's just...
is the exact pace I want you to do this.
Exactly, yeah.
And then we get to the Johnson home. Hey, it's Leo.
This is where we live, Shelley!
As if I didn't know.
I'm gonna show you how to wash this towel, and you're gonna do it.
Come off it, Leo. I have to get ready for work.
What did you say? Shelley, I'm not fooling around anymore! The first thing you're gonna learn is to have a good attitude. That's the key! Anybody will tell you that.
I did not miss you, Leo.
Although there is one thing in the scene that is so funny to me. So he's on his knees scrubbing the floor. Another scene where they cut the first part of it, wisely.
Right.
I love that it opens with, "This is where we live, Shelley." It becomes an iconic Leo line. That's a meme I see a lot.
Oh, yeah?
This is where we live, Shelley. Like when something's messy. You know? Right. The first thing you're going to learn is to have a good attitude. That's the key. Right. Anyone will tell you that.
Anyone. Right.
The reason I like that line so much is because in another tone of voice, like you could hear like Coop saying that or Gordon saying that.
Yes. Right.
But because it's Leo, we're like, that's fucked up.
Right. Also, like, Leo, do you have a good attitude?
Yeah, I know.
I don't think so.
He's very mad. He wants to teach her how to scrub the floor. The phone rings. Leo answers, it's Bobby. Interesting thing in the secret diary that you don't get from the rest of the show is that Leo and Bobby used to hang out all the time.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. They just had a little bit of rift when Bobby started fucking Shelley.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess that could happen.
Yeah, even though he didn't know for sure, he like knew.
Right. And Bobby probably distanced himself from him.
Yeah, wisely.
Right.
But at this time, they're in a whole cocaine football situation.
The football's empty. I'm looking for Santa Claus.
No way, you already owe me money. 5,000 to be exact.
Are you telling me there's no Santa Claus?
There's like the Santa Claus metaphor that carries through with Jacques, so it's like something that they use a lot.
Right.
Are you saying there's no Santa Claus? Is a really funny line.
Right.
Leo doesn't give a shit. Bobby owes him $5,000.
Also, Shelley does this very, like, exaggerated...
Oh, yeah, 5,000. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
It is, and it's significant because they're always so poor, starved for cash.
Right.
So she's pretty confused.
Right.
So then Bobby hangs up and calls Jacques. He's at a payphone, by the way. This is something people used to do when they were making phone calls about drugs, specifically. I feel like payphones were almost always used for that, in movies at least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Rodas.
And Jacques, I'm not really sure why he does this, but he sets up Bobby.
Right.
How come you don't call me when you're desperate, huh? You're desperate, Davy.
Are you interested or not?
Yeah, maybe, Bobby, baby. Maybe. For 10K, I have a friend who has what you want. Oh, his stuff is the best. 2 days, midnight. Yeah, the sound of sawing wood.
Oh, his stuff is the best. 2 days at the sound of sawing wood. So yeah, he's like setting him up for this drug sting, whatever it is. Maybe the cops are on to Jacques and he's like, this is the way I'll get the heat off of me.
Maybe, yeah.
But it doesn't go that way, as we will see.
Right.
Palmer House. Laura's all dressed up, listening to music. It's a shot that we often see Leland in Twin Peaks. Like facing the camera in 2/3 angle and drinking. Or Leland's often listening to music, record player, but Laura's fixing herself a drink. And you see her homecoming picture in the background on the little side table next to the couch. I wanted to mention that for 2 reasons. One, it's still there in Mary Ruben's house, which is so amazing. And the green ashtray, one of the green ashtrays is there. Not both ashtrays. When they first dressed this scene, there was one ashtray full of cigarettes like that. And David decided that there needed to be a second one. So he took a break and smoked an entire pack of cigarettes to fill a second ashtray. I know. It's amazing that he's not dead of cancer.
Right.
I'm glad he's not, but yikes.
Right.
Because you know what else? Harry Dean Stanton also smoked his whole life, and he lived to be so old. It's like some people it just doesn't affect for whatever reason.
Weird.
I don't know. I know.
Are they not inhaling? Did no one ever teach them how to inhale? Right? And they're just like...
Maybe. Certainly if you're trying to smoke really fast, you would smoke it like that.
Right, that's true.
The other notable thing about the scene is that it's all the same shot. Donna comes in from behind. You hear her pull up from outside, too. And she sees Laura's all dressed up. She says, "Where are you going?"
Laura? Where are you going? Nowhere fast. And you're not coming.
Nowhere fast.
So Donna's trying to get through to Laura because she's obviously upset about something and she's really trying to figure out what's going on.
Laura, come on. You remember me? I'm your best friend. Laura? Aren't you gonna fix me a drink?
She's trying to party with Laura, like, be on her level. Laura is not gonna do that. No. And then again, I really like this line.
Where are the cookies? You mean Fred and Ginger? Dancing.
Because it's, like, obvious that that's a nickname that they have shared for her parents, Fred and Ginger.
Right, yeah, that is funny.
It's because they like to dance. Guess who else likes to dance? Capital B-O-B. And then this is just one of the greatest lines of all time.
If I had a nickel for every cigarette your mom smoked, I'd be dead.
I'd be dead.
I'd be dead. Right. It's true. I think that's true. But Laura's like, I'll call you tomorrow. She leaves. Donna follows her out. And then the camera lingers on the empty room. This makes me think of Maddie when that happens. The painting over the mantle is not the Missoula, Montana painting. So it almost feels like Bob just put that up there so he could say that line about sending her back to Missoula, Montana before smashing her face into it. I don't know. That's just a fun theory I have. Right. Cut to the Roadhouse. The Bang Bang Bar. There's a little dog that runs across the parking lot. I wonder if that's an accident. I don't know. Margaret shows up. Hey.
Yeah, little Margaret.
She's got that log. She gives Laura the saddest warning of all time.
When this kind of fire starts, it is very hard to put out. The tender boughs of innocence burn first, and the wind rises, and then all goodness is in jeopardy.
The sad thing about Margaret is that she gets all this information, but it's never enough.
Right.
She tries to help as best she can, but it's like...
It's never all that helpful.
Yeah. It's always just like, get ready, this is going to happen.
I mean, it's so sad in the return, though, how she's so sick. That's really sad, too.
Yeah. And she was really that sick.
Right.
Ugh. And it's also significant when she says this kind of fire starts. Not just because of Fire Walk With Me, but also because her husband died of fire.
Right.
So she knows about fires that are hard to put out. And tender boughs of innocence. Margaret and Laura have a meeting outside of an old abandoned convenience store in the Secret Diary.
Ooh.
And Laura talks about how much she loves Margaret and thinks Margaret's misunderstood.
Oh,
as we know from
true.
Twin Peaks,
Yes,
like only the best people
that's
love and respect Margaret.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely true.
And then after Margaret walks away, Laura clutches the hand that Margaret touched to her heart, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
And then there's like the most lovely transition where she looks into a darkened window and sees her reflection, and there's the neon behind her giving it a red glow. It's so gorgeous. And then it fades into Julie Cruz. Questions in a World of Blue. Very, very long, slow shot of Laura at the entrance. A oneer, beautiful oneer. Framed in that doorway first, which is nice. Because we see that doorway so many times in Twin Peaks and never Laura under it.
Right.
She was a part of the town, and it follows her walking very slowly across the bar, listening to the music, starting to cry, because the lyrics are fucking devastating. How can a heart that's filled with love start to cry when all the world seems so right? Laura sits down at a table and sobs. Oh my god. And then Donna comes in because she trailed her from the house. And she sees her, but this is best friend Donna, MVP. She sees her, but she sits at the bar instead.
Yeah.
Because she's like giving her space.
Right.
She just is super worried about Laura, but she respects her. Laura lights a cigarette, kind of composes herself, makes eye contact with Jacques, who sends two skeezy ass guys over.
Gross.
Yeah, they're prostitutes. One of them puts money on the table, and then they both sit down, and then there's a song lyric that feels very significant. When did the day with all its light turn into night? I kind of feel like from here on out, literally every line is significant.
I know,
but
like, then so much happens from this point. One thing that's funny to me when they first showed Julie Cruz and there's this close-up of her singing. I mean, I think it's just a tweet I saw somewhere how to David Lynch, one of the craziest things you can have is a lady singing in a room. You know, like that's it's such a wild thing to have as a director's trademark. You know, like, okay, there's a lady singing. You know?
Yeah. And she's wearing an old-timey dress.
Yes. And there's a microphone.
Yeah,
right?
like that specific microphone.
Right.
Yeah, he loves that image, and it's very effective, so I get it.
So you want to fuck the homecoming baby?
Very significant.
Right.
That is exactly what they want. And then there's a fun little geography reference. They put a small amount of cash on the table. They say, "Let's go around the world, babe." And she says,
I'm gonna get you Walla Walla.
Walla Walla is 6 hours southwest of Twin Peaks, or like the upper corner of Washington. That seems kind of far, but I don't know.
Right, well,
it's not enough
money. If you want to
money.
go around the world,
Oh yeah, that's
not
true.
far at all.
You're right. Such a good point. You do go all the way, don't you, little girl? Unfortunately, yes.
You willing to go all the way? Huh? You gonna do it to me?
Laura's just so going through it. Grabs him by the balls really hard. And then good old Donna. Donna's seeing this kind of escalating.
Yeah, let me just step in here.
I don't know what to do, but I'm going to try something.
Right.
She says, let's boogie. Does she mean let's all dance? What does she mean? I don't know. She just wants Laura to be okay.
Right.
And then this is like a whole back and forth game of chicken, I guess, between Donna and Laura.
Yeah.
I really love this Donna, though.
Yeah.
The way she takes that shot and like the eye contact that the two of them are making. throughout. It's so significant. Donna convinces Laura, I guess, that she's like...
Yeah.
It's not so much convincing, I guess. She's just like, Donna's not going to leave, so she's going to see some shit.
Okay, Donna. Let's go.
And what she sees is the sexy Canadian border rockabilly bar.
Right.
In the script, the music that's playing here is described as hell metal. But it sounds, it's more rockabilly than metal, but it is definitely like pretty dirty, muddy. And it's so loud in here that it requires subtitles.
Yeah.
That was something that David apparently went back and forth about.
Oh, really?
He wasn't sure if he wanted them, but then he decided that the lines were too important for people not to hear.
Yeah, I really like it. Like how it can just genuinely be hard to hear in a bar.
Yeah, totally.
Right, like I feel like that's the vibe that subtitles give you is, it is hard to hear people talking in a bar.
It's better to just use body language.
Well, I feel like in a way it somehow captures that better than if there weren't subtitles and it was just hard to hear the actors on the screen.
I think you're right. First, Laura says, don't expect a turkey dog in here, which is such a weird Laura line. You kind of get what she means, but that's such a weird thing to say.
Yeah, right. Well, and that might be a thing, like... that
between them.
Yeah. Like, that's like what she would order in a regular place, you know.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's her... I wonder if they have food at the Roadhouse.
That's it, yeah.
Turkey dogs. And there's Jacques. He got there first, so that's why he says, hey, slowpokes. Guess what? There's no tomorrow. There's some sort of similar line in the Secret Diary where he talks about there being no tomorrow. So it's just something he likes to say.
Right.
Let's party like it's no tomorrow. And Laura kisses Jacques, and it's gross to us, but I do want to read this passage in the Secret Diary because the interesting thing is that Laura really likes being with Jacques. She
Really?
Jacques Renault. He's a big fat guy, but he can really turn me on sometimes. He's the little baby big man type too, except that he knows a lot more about a woman's body than even Leo.
So yeah, I guess he's good at stuff.
All right.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
When you look like Jacques, you gotta be good at stuff.
Maybe.
Because he's not nice either. He doesn't have much going for him except knowing his way around a woman's body, apparently.
I guess.
He's hammered. They're all pretty fucked up. He says, I'm the great wint. Laura says, I'm the muffin. In the missing pieces, that's like an inside joke between her and Donna.
Oh, we're her and Donna. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Jacques doesn't get it, so he says, what a muffin you got. And then he says, I'm as blank as a fart, and pretends to shoot himself in the head. I don't know why he does that.
It's weird.
He's just being funny, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess he's just being like, let's party. I don't want to talk. Let's just get to the partying. What a weird little thing that happens next. They all stand around in a circle. Donna, Jacques, those two rednecks, and Laura. And they pass beer bottles around. I can't figure out if Laura is aware of the roofies and wants Donna to get roofied.
Right. Or like she changes her mind about it or something.
Yeah,
like,
because she definitely notices it's happening.
Yeah, and tells Donna drink up.
Chug-a-lug.
Chug-a-lug, yeah.
I think chug-a-lug all the time for some reason. Chug-a-lug Donna. If that's the case, if she wanted Donna to get roofied, I wonder if it's because she thinks that it's safer. If she just passes out, she can keep an eye on her.
Maybe.
Or is it because she doesn't want her to remember anything that happened that night?
Right.
It's like a more selfish reason.
Right.
I don't know. Or both. She contains multitudes.
She does.
So then it cuts to them doing a lot of dancing. Laura's dancing with the book. Her jacket drops to the floor, and Donna notices that. She doesn't do anything about it right away, but the way she looks at it, I feel like that tells her something. Like, Laura wouldn't usually just leave her clothes on the floor like that.
Right.
And then her dress falls down, and Donna starts to approach her, but then here comes the roofies.
Right.
I don't think I've ever actually been roofied per se, but I have had like a mixture of things that have made me feel exactly like this.
Oh, okay.
Where the music slows down and the camera spins. Like that spinning room thing. It doesn't happen very often to me, but it was definitely when pills and alcohol were mixed together.
Oh, okay.
The room is spinning, but it's like just your eyes or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's perfectly captured by the camera. And really appreciate that. And then Ronette shows up, which is a nice sort of happy thing. It's really nice to see Ronette.
I love Renee.
Alive and untraumatized so far.
She's all right.
She looks really pretty. She's happy to see Laura. Laura's happy to see her. Laura has a kind of a crush on Ronette.
Oh, yeah.
They hook up at One Eye Jack's for sex work, but Laura enjoys it. So.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's nice that Laura gets to do something she enjoys every once in a great while. I haven't seen you since I was thrown out of One Eye Jack's. They reminisce about what else they did together. That's when Donna picks up Laura's jacket and puts it around her waist. And then Jacques approaches Laura and Ronette and is gross. They just want to talk about Theresa because it's been a year to the day since she died. Because they were friends with Theresa, which I don't think you know until this moment in the movie. Ronette says she was blackmailing someone. It reminds Jacques that Theresa asked him what their fathers looked like, which is another cutscene. In the scene, you see her call him. We don't need it. Laura's immediately fucking freaked out. And she says she asked about my father. And she should be. But then it cuts to Laura just hanging out topless next to Ronette at a table. Still kind of having a little fun, which is nice. She instructs Buck to get under the table, and he complies. But the really interesting thing about it is how she does it. The upside down snap and a wink. Which she does in the lodge to Coop.
Hello, I stand buffer. I'll see you again in 25 years. Meanwhile.
Again, I kind of really didn't notice that until this watch. Everything's great until Ronette notices Donna Hayward.
Yeah.
She's kind of amused by it, but Laura's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Donna's topless, making out with that guy. I wrote his name down, but I forget it now. The other guy.
The other guy.
Laura says, Donna, not you. She goes back and forth between being openly freaked out, Donna, not you, to being angry, don't wear my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The angry, don't wear my stuff is because if you wear my stuff, you could be touched by the evil.
Right.
Yeah.
I never thought she was like, don't wear my stuff. She's like, don't be me.
Don't
inhabit my reality.
But Donna thinks she just doesn't want to wear her stuff.
Right.
Donna's face is like, okay, I won't. I won't wear her stuff.
Okay, get your jacket.
Jeez. Then it's like a really good transition of the floor. Just pans across the floor, cigarettes and beer bottles. So many of both.
There's so many cigarettes in this movie.
Remember smoking inside? Disgusting. No. And then we get a forest transition, like a really long one, to the Hayward house. But it's the exterior, and Leland is pulling up, so it's scary. Before we even see the inside, we see Leland pulling up. Inside, Donna asks, how did I get to my house? And I love Laura's line.
How did I get to my house? How did I get my bed? Life is full of mysteries, Donna.
Life is full of mysteries, Donna.
Right.
Also such a
of
fun...
all things, right? Like, that's the one. How you got home.
Yeah. I think it's probably because, like, Jacques drove them home, or somebody drove them home that she doesn't want her to remember.
Oh, yeah.
You're mad at me for wearing something of yours. I don't want you to wear my stuff. I do love you, Laura.
Yeah, Laura kind of explains it. I don't want you to wear my stuff. I love you. I don't want you to be like me. And then they almost have a heart-to-heart.
Why do you do it?
But unfortunately, there's a whooshing sound. And Leland comes in, sees Donna and Laura, and flashes back to Laura and Ronette at Red Diamond City Motel. They're waiting for their John. They don't know it's it's supposed to be him. He shakes it away and says they have to meet home for breakfast. Cut to driving down the road in the Vert, presumably heading toward the Double R. And then there's an RV pulling up behind them frantically. It's Mike. Right as he's pulling up, Laura says,
Dad, is the engine on fire? It smells like something's burning.
As we know, engine oil, that's a Bob smell.
Right. And it is one of the last things Maddie says.
Yeah. There's that troublesome stop sign crosswalk.
I know.
Which should really be a light, guys.
Right.
It's where that boy dies in the return. Similar fucking instance here where an old couple's crossing, a big-ass logging truck has stopped, so Leland can't see around the truck. Mm-hmm. And neither can Mike, I guess. He really wants to talk to Leland, so he zooms through the intersection, almost killing the two old people.
Right.
Comes back around so he can yell directly in Leland's face, "You stole the corn." Apparently Bob stole some garbanzosia that Mike wanted.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he's like, "You owe me garbanzosia." But it also seems like he's trying to help. It's interesting. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know Mike's deal.
Yeah. That was like, for me, one of the most confusing scenes, like, what's going on here?
He wants his garbanzosia, but he doesn't seem like he's super excited about Laura dying to get it.
Right.
Because he does say, "It's your father." She doesn't hear it, but he's like trying to warn her.
Right.
So then Mike drives off and Leland pulls into the service station. That's right there.
Do that to your rich daughter. Take it easy, Mr.
And everyone there thinks his engine is on fire because of that smell. Like, they all smell it, which is kind of interesting. But it's not the engine. And then I just love Leland in this scene.
Why doesn't somebody do something about this? Mom comes out of the blue like that, starts screaming at you like a crazy person and harassing my daughter. You all right, honey? Dad, are you all right?
Why doesn't somebody do something about this?
Right. Is this where he says, "What's the world coming to?"
Yes.
It's really
Man comes out of nowhere. Laura is so frantic in this scene. It's very effective.
Let's go get your mother.
No, just sit here for a moment.
Oh my God. Man, a man comes out of the blue like that? What's the world coming to?
And Leland's kind of flashing back. I feel like this is just Bob fucking with him. Bob is like letting him remember a couple things, but not enough. So he's confused. He's in bed with Theresa Banks. He covers her eyes in a very creepy way.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Who am I?
I don't know.
That's right.
She's like, "I don't know."
Right, exactly.
And then Laura says,
Dad! Who was that? He looked familiar. Have I met him?
No, honey, you haven't met him. Have you met him?
No.
I wonder why he looked familiar.
Right.
Another flashback to Ronna and Laura when he's trying to get out of there and Theresa catches him.
Hey, handsome. What's wrong?
Nothing. I chickened out.
And then as he's rushing out of the parking lot, there's Pierre with his creepy mask. The mask is similar to this little talisman that he's holding that is also like comes to life in the convenience store. You see that earlier. I've read a little about that. I feel like it's just an image that David likes. I don't think it really means all that much in all my research because I really couldn't find anything compelling about it. But it is very striking to look at. I like the uncomfortable close-ups back and forth through the windshield of Laura and Leland as they're having this horrible, confusing conversation.
Yeah.
Did you come home during the day last week? And then Leland, instead of answering that right away, he says to all the people that are kind of standing around,
Leave us alone! God damn it, get back to your work!
Everyone's like, okay. Laura sounds almost mad when she's...
I thought I saw you.
Oh, God, you know, I did stop home on Friday, come to think of it. I had this severe headache, and I was in the neighborhood, so I darted in and out of the house and get some aspirin. Where were you, Laura? I didn't see you.
I was just down the street.
Where were you, Laura? I didn't see you. So we cut to the Palmer house. There's that clock. Clock transition, 7:59 turns to 8 o'clock.
That's a good one. It's good when you can see the whole
the whole thing.
change.
Yeah. Everything changes.
Yeah.
Very satisfying.
I know, it is. Such a short time we had that kind of clock.
This is when Laura remembers Mike had the ring. So I wonder if when she says he looked familiar, maybe she just meant like the ring was familiar.
Oh, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because when she remembers the ring, she remembers her dream with the ring, and then she also remembers Theresa Banks having the ring on her finger. I feel like she hadn't made that connection before. Then there's flashing lights in her room and electricity sounds. Bob is kind of dipping in there.
Are you? Who are you really?
Leland's downstairs pacing, looking very troubled, thinking about killing Theresa. We get to see him actually smashing Theresa's head a little bit, which is pretty horrifying.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back outside to the exterior shot with the heart-shaped wreath on the door. So I feel like that's just really interesting. Cuts back into Laura in her room doing the last of her cocaine. Really scraping the barrel on that one. She talks a lot in the diary about like when she's running out, she's just trying to find any little scrap of it. Cocaine is so addictive. You shouldn't do cocaine.
No, I won't.
Twin Peaks High School.
You and I are gonna make a big squad knife. What is that? A tissue tiny room.
Thanks.
Laura asking Bobby for more coke. Poor Bobby. She admits several times in the secret diary that at this point she's literally only still dating Bobby because he can get her cocaine.
Aww. See, Bobby is troubled and reasonably so. I really feel for Bobby. Like, he really got mistreated by someone he loved, you know?
Yeah.
And then he killed a guy. And then she died, you know? I love Bobby.
I know. He actually killed 2 people probably because in the secret diary, like earlier, there's like another drug deal gone wrong and he just indiscriminately shoots, like they're pulling off and he just shoots the gun into the car that's following them and the person falls over. And he doesn't really ever know if he shot them, but he apparently unloaded the whole gun. So
Oh, wow. Well,
he probably killed 2 guys.
yikes, Bobby.
I know. So he makes plans. Okay, this is notable to me. You and I are going to make a big score tonight. I'll meet you 2 doors down from your place at 11. I'll tell you later why I really appreciated him saying I'll meet you 2 doors down at 11. Then it cuts to them walking through the forest. Another mid-conversation scene that had more to it earlier. We didn't need. Because he was asking her about their relationship before then. We don't need it.
Bobby? What?
That's good, Bob.
Do you love me, Laura? She's like, I'm not having this conversation. She's so silly.
Bobby? Bobby, I found some dirt!
I really love how silly she is. It's
so weird, right?
She's dancing. You're a great dancer. They do a bunch more coke, make choo-choo sounds when they're doing it, which is kind of funny. Laura's got something in a paper bag to drink. The music's really loud in this scene, which is interesting because it's not diegetic music, but it's louder than usual.
What's that word you
Diegetic is when music is playing in the scene.
Oh,
like
okay.
someone's playing it on something.
Gotcha.
Like at the Rockabilly Bar. Flashlights on trees. Remember when Bobby is with Mike meeting Leo with the football? The whole scene is lit with flashlights. It's really cool and spooky, and it's effective here. These flashlights are like really striking flashlights though, because they're these massive flashlights that are like seem heavy, really heavy. And then later Leland has the same one, Bob, after he kills Laura.
Right.
I just really noticed that giant honking flashlight. I mean, I guess technically it has to be that big just to light the scene properly, but it's just so noticeable.
Yeah.
And then I really love this Laura. I found a pine cone. It's really cute. She picks up this tiny pine cone. I almost feel her on that one. I'm like, I would probably notice that tiny pine cone too.
Baby one.
I know. And then here comes the guy, Cliff, the deputy from Deer Meadow. So we know right away that Bobby's getting set up.
Yeah.
He says, "Who sent you?" And Cliff says, "Jacques."
Who sent you?
Jacques.
That's right.
Oh, good. I'm relieved now. I have nothing to worry about.
Right.
Cliff pulls out a huge bag of white powder. Laura's like,
Yay.
She like zombie walks toward him to grab the bag. Cliff says,
Like that little girl.
and pulls out his gun, and I realized he pulls it out because he's going to try to arrest them. For some reason before I always thought he was just going to shoot them. I don't know why, but he's a cop. And they're white. He's gonna try to arrest
I
him.
thought that for a second too. I'm like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
Like,
He didn't know Bobby had a gun, I think. Right. Unfortunately, Bobby did have a gun.
Bobby, quick with that trigger finger.
He was scared. He saw the gun come out.
I know. I'm like kind of impressed how fast he was.
And I wonder actually if he was so fast on the draw because of the earlier incident with the drugs and the gun. After he shoots him 3 times, he says,
I shot him. Oh my God. I shot him. Fuck.
Oh, poor Bobby. This scene is so hard because Bobby's so scared and sad, and I'm really feeling for him, but also Laura's being fucking hilarious.
Right, she's being so weird.
That's what you did? Killed Mike.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the...
I think she might be the weirdest when she's around Bobby.
Yeah, maybe.
It's so weird that first scene when she's like, "You're too dumb to see me." Come on. Like, what?
She does really like him. She cares about him a lot. Like she says, even though they broke up and she's using him for coke, she still really cares about him in the diary. The diary's so good. This is not fucking funny. He's right, but she's being funny, so it's hard.
Right.
No, help me bury him.
So she keeps saying that it's Mike.
It's Mike. And the way she says it is so funny. You killed Mike. Bobby.
And he's like, it's not Mike. And he's like, wait, is it Mike?
Bobby, you killed Mike.
This isn't fucking Mike!
Is this Mike?
What's happening?
Poor Bobby.
I know.
And then he's like pathetically dropping like leaves and dirt on him, like trying to bury him. It's so sad.
Oh, you got it. He's buried now. 6 feet under.
And she
Good
rolls
job,
with
Bobby.
it, and she picks up. He's like, "Help me!" And so
I
she picks
know.
up one little chip of wood and puts it on there.
Good job, guys.
Laura. I love you though. Sadly, that's the last fun Laura ever gets to have.
Yeah.
Cuts to the next day, Palmer House. James pulls up on his dumb bike.
Ugh.
Laura was supposed to meet him last night, but she blew him off for the coke.
Right.
And he knows that.
You're on something again, huh?
James.
So when will I get to see you?
Every once in a while, James is sympathetic, I guess. He like doesn't want her to be addicted to cocaine. That's fair.
Right.
Leland comes out behind her. It's creepy. She sees that and is like, I gotta go. But of course, James puts on his glasses and rides off all obnoxiously. I have to say, this is like the only Laura outfit that I cannot stand. She often is wearing sweater sets that only look good because Sheryl Lee's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But this outfit is like too bad even for Sheryl Lee, I think. This
What's
like,
she wearing in this?
frumpy red shirt that's tucked in with these like baggy jeans.
Yeah, it's
like
good.
a, what do you call it? It's like got 3 buttons on the top.
Oh,
it's a long
okay.
sleeve shirt.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Ugly.
It's like LL Bean.
Right.
You know? This type of shirt is called a Henley. But maybe it's significant that she's wearing this frumpy outfit because she's not really worrying about her appearance at the moment. She's got shit on her mind. Like Bobby killed a guy.
Right. Bobby just killed a guy.
So we cut to night, Palmer House. Sarah in the mirror. She's on the opposite side as she was the first time. She's on the left. She was on the right before. And Leland hands her a glass of milk.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Leland, don't drink Leland's milk.
Really encourages her to drink it all. Meanwhile, Laura's doing lines off her bedside table. Oh my god, this is so scary.
Yeah.
Leland is ascending the stairs, and then he turns on that fucking ceiling fan. There's 2 schools of thought about the ceiling fan, and I think they're both right, actually. One is evil lives in the ceiling fan. Evil definitely lives in electricity.
Well, that's true, yeah.
But the other is like a more real world kind of thing where like abusers turn noises on to drown out sounds.
Oh, that's true too, yeah.
So I think those are both valid. Even though Sarah is not going to hear shit anyway.
Right.
But before she nods off while reading How to Speak German, she sees a white horse in her bedroom.
This is the water. And this
is the well. Drink full and ascend. The horse is the white of the eyes and dark within.
All right, then we cut to Laura in her room. She looks out the window, electric blinking. Bob comes in and he's so scary, as we know.
With this dirty, disgusting hair.
And what happens next can only be described as the sexual assault of a young girl, and it's awful.
Yeah.
But the notable thing about it is that she's squeezing his face and saying, "Who are you?" And for the first time, it turns into Leland.
Mm-hmm.
So she's getting closer to the truth.
Right.
Laura screams right into her mushy cereal the next morning.
Laura, honey, I really would like to talk to you.
Even I didn't think that cereal looked good, and I like it pretty soggy.
Oh, yeah. It was like the other notable thing about the scene. She's like sort of seems like she's feeling sexy at first before the assault happens. And this passage in the secret diary kind of explains it. Bob writes in her diary. Every once in a while, Bob will like enter her and write in the diary in all caps, and it's terrifying. And he writes, and he always calls her Laura Palmer, her full name.
Remember, Laura Palmer, I can manipulate your conscience so that you feel nothing but what I choose for you to feel.
Yeah. And Leland, do we think he's Bob at this moment?
Laura, honey, I really would like to talk to you.
I feel like he might be confused Leland with Bob.
Yeah, I don't
the
think he's
strings.
Bob. I think he's more like the Leland who sort of knows.
He knows something's wrong, but not what. Laura does not want to talk. She walks into the kitchen, and then Sarah pulls out a cigarette, which is like a very pointed, obvious. I mean, she's always smoking, but it really tells you like why Sarah smokes so much and what makes her want a cigarette.
Laura, is something wrong this morning?
You're right. Leland looks confused at the end of the scene. But then, after he looks confused, he turns to Bob.
Yeah.
It's just for a second. But that's the resolve, I think, right there. He's like, Laura is gonna remember. I gotta do something about it. The Laura Death March montage. She's on her way to school, looking pretty fucked up, passing power lines. You hear, like, power line sounds, electric sounds. Clock going all weird at school. Donna's oblivious. There's shots of Donna not really noticing. And then we're in the homeroom classroom that we see in the pilot. Laura weeping as she stands up out of her desk, which dissolves to the empty desk. Very powerful image. Then we're at the Briggs home. Another scene that starts in the middle. There was a whole thing with her getting there. That's when we would see Major Briggs and Betty Briggs.
Oh, okay.
But we don't need it.
Yeah.
All we need is her being in the basement with Bobby, making out with him just for cocaine. And he calls it out.
Where are you going?
I'm going home, Bobby.
You don't want me. You just want the blow, don't you?
And then he says it's okay. Which is like fucking heartbreaking.
I know.
It's okay.
You're going through a lot, Bobby.
Oh, yes. I did want to say, this is a secret diary footnote about Bobby. Remember that she laughed at Bobby the first time they had sex and he told her he loved her. And this is what she writes about it the next day in her diary.
But the Laura who loved him back, the young girl who so desperately hoped he would come after her when the time was right, cannot come out to play. She is inside, resting, deep inside, cradled in the braver half, the one that finds this Bobby boy satisfying, yes, but not interesting beyond that. There is no strength in him, no challenge. I'll keep him with me, save him for her, when it is safe for her to come back.
And then she decides she has to laugh at him to push him away.
I was forced to do something cruel, something that would make him perhaps rethink the entire idea of Laura. He had to see her as something he never thought existed. I had to laugh at him. Hard. Laugh. Until his eyes lost their light.
Oh,
Right?
boy.
Jesus. Palmer home. Laura walks in. Sarah's sitting on the couch reading, and she says, "Good night, sweetheart." And this is what she references in the pilot.
Do you know what time it was when you last saw Laura, Mrs. Palmer?
What time?
Yes.
It would have been about 9. Yes, 9 o'clock p.m. She came home from Bobby's. And she was going up the stairs.
Did she say anything to you?
No. She said good night. And I said, good night, sweetheart.
And the other thing I noticed this last time that I never thought about before in relation to the two sets of stairs is that she could have gone straight up to her bedroom.
Right.
But instead she walks through the living room, around, and through the kitchen to the other way up the stairs to make sure her mom sees her going to her room.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something she probably does a lot.
Right.
To trick her mom and then sneaks out. She's always
Like, look, I'm
sneaking
home.
out. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
In her room, she's wearing her death outfit, unfortunately. The white bustier. She's pulling on her thigh highs. This is a little funny. At least we get like a tiny, tiny bit of levity before everything gets really bad. When she's struggling with the phone.
Right.
She's trying to pull her stockings on and
put
like,
it down,
tap the
right.
chair.
When she has it the wrong way for a second.
Yeah.
It's just-
Okay. I'll meet you in 15. I'll meet you in 15 minutes. Okay. I'll meet you in 15 minutes.
Yeah, she's like, "I'll meet you in 15 minutes." And then she says, "God, why did I say that?"
I know.
God, why did I say that? 15 minutes?
That was so relatable. Sometimes I feel like I schedule things too close and it's like, why? Like, I'll be there, so I'm like, or I could just be there 10 minutes after what I just said. Why did I do that?
And I kind of wish that she had said longer because he fucking blows her cover. She looks at the angel picture and the angel disappears before her eyes. The angel has gone away. Yikes. Secret diary footnote. Sometime between August 2nd and August 10th, 1988, there's 2 ripped out pages, and then Laura writes just an undated entry.
I think of death these days as a companion I long to meet. Goodbye, Laura.
And then later, the second to last entry, also undated, right after 2 ripped out pages.
I told Dr. Jacoby how hard it had been for me lately with everything getting so close, and how I finally felt certain that James was my last chance for light.
Oh, I sort of get it sometimes, her thing with James, because he is
so sweet.
He's so dumb, but he is so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, he is so dumb, though.
I know. Speaking of which, Laura climbs down the trellis, all sneaky-like,
right.
And then James comes fucking roaring up like a goddamn hurricane on his motorcycle. Thanks for nothing. Although that gets the highly memed Leland glaring out the window shot that is
pretty good.
It's a good shot. What's not so nice about it is the sound of the ceiling fan is over that shot, and it's terrifying. Classic Lynch highway at night shot.
Yeah.
Laura and James pull over. She gets off. This is the scene that James talks about. She was talking a bunch of nonsense.
I do like when he goes, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
A fair question.
It is.
What the hell's wrong with you?
That's right. There's no place left to go, is there, James?
How's that supposed to mean?
You know it and I know it.
We have everything. Everything but everything. Laura.
She mocks the way he says Laura and then slaps him. And then he's so annoying. You always hurt the ones you love.
You always hurt the ones you love.
You mean the ones you pity?
Say whatever you want. I know you love me. And I love you.
But then she does say, I do love you, James. And then let's get lost together. Very significant.
I do love you, James. Let's get lost together.
I don't want to think about my real life anymore. Right. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. She's trying to drown out her bad thoughts with the kisses, but she realizes... So she stops making out with him, and then she just like randomly looks into the woods and screams.
Oh, right.
Important because in the return, if it's future or past or whatever, it's Coop in the woods. She just sees some dude in the woods and is scared. And then she remembers Bobby killed the guy.
Right.
Classic, iconic line, Bobby killed the guy.
Killed the guy.
Bobby killed the guy.
What are you talking about? Bobby didn't kill anybody.
Do you want to see?
Do you want to see?
No, we didn't.
See what?
Right. Open your eyes, James. You don't even know me. There are things about me. Even Donna doesn't know me.
Your Laura disappeared. Fuck. Squeezed out a tear. It's just me now. This is the Laura that she buried deep inside for Bobby. Then I really love that shot where he tries to grab her and then it's just the shot of her middle finger in front of his face.
Right.
What about this, James?
Really nice. And then she says,
I think you want to take me home now.
When you think about the return, it becomes even more significant. Because if she comes from the lodge, then home for her is the lodge.
Right.
Then we're at Sparkwood in 21. We know this because James mentions it 5,000 times. She hops off.
I love you, James!
Then we cut to like a back road. Walking road? I don't know. Leo's red convertible. Ronette and Leo and Jock waiting. Clock motif.
Right. It's a lot.
Cut to Jacques' cabin. Laura puts lipstick on, hands it to Ronette. And I feel like they only do this to make everyone look so horrifying later when the red lipstick is smeared all over their faces.
Scary.
Yeah.
Why are they putting on lipstick right then?
When they're right about to make out with dudes. I know. Laura's making out with Jacques, Ronette with Leo. Waldo's there. Hey, Waldo. And then it kind of cuts to them all lying together. Keeps cutting to different parts of the night. Laura on the floor, and Jacques is tying her up. Don't tie me up tonight, goddammit.
Right.
Laura does like to be tied up, normally, in a very controlled situation. She says something in the diary, too, about how she likes dangerous stuff if it's just pretend, but not if it's real.
Right. It bugs me so much when he's doing that and she's like, don't tie me up, because like in Twin Peaks when he's telling the story to, is it Cooper, where he's telling the story and he's like,
Laura, she's all tied up.
She like that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
she didn't love it.
I know. Like,
He
you
was
guys
yelling
needed...
at you not to do it.
They didn't have a safe word. They really needed one. They should have had one.
Well.
This is a real PSA for safe
I
words.
don't know. Well, I don't know about that.
No.
I mean, I don't know how much that would have helped at this time. I don't
No.
know.
She's already on a road to nowhere fast.
I could have such a whole tangent about that. And someone
Okay.
I know who feels very strongly about that kind of thing. I don't feel strongly about it at all. But there's safe word discourse.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to talk about that another time. Ronette realizes that Laura's for real and tries to stop him, but unfortunately Leo pulls her back. Then Leland appears at the window. Fuck.
No, it's so awful. It's
awful.
It's such an awful scene.
Then Jacques goes outside to piss and gets knocked out by Leland. Laura asks Leo to untie her. He says, shut up, and walks out the door.
I know she asks nicely even.
know.
She's
Please
like,
untie
me.
me."
Leo, will you please untie me?
Shut up!
And then Leo walks out. That's when Waldo goes nuts. Laura rolls over and sees Leland / Bob. Screams, cut to Mike running through the woods. Is he coming to help? Nope. He is not. No. Leland leads Ronna and Laura through the woods, holding them by their ropes. It's fucking scary. The captions just say, screaming continues.
It does. Yes. It will continue for a while.
The log lady talks about the log hearing this stuff. This is what the log hears. All this screaming. In the train car, Ronette's praying. She says, Father, if I die now, will you come and see me? Leland's holding a mirror in front of Laura's face, and she sees Bob for a second. He's trying to get inside. He wants to either be in there or kill her. This is the moment of truth. For a second, oh my god, for a second Laura sees Leland's face and says, Daddy. And then, yeah, we'll kind of skim over this maybe.
This whole scene is just so horrible.
I always thought you knew it was me. I never knew you knew it was me. He's holding diary pages when he says this, so the pages he pulled out are when he realizes. Ronette bargaining with God, and then the sound drops out. An angel appears to release Ronette. Thanks a lot, Angel. I'm glad Ronette got away, but come on. Mike opens the train car door. Again, you think he's helping. He's not really. Ronette manages to get out, but then Leland knocks her out right as she falls. And Mike throws the ring into the car and shuts the door. What is he doing that for? I guess he technically doesn't want Bob to get inside Laura. Mm-hmm. But he still wants that Garmonbozia. He's a confusing guy.
Yeah.
Damn, these people are confusing.
Leland says, don't make me do this, but Bob makes him do it.
That's the worst part for me, I think, when he says, don't make me do this. Greg Wise is so good. I mean, he's just so good.
That he goes back and forth throughout the scene like that?
Right.
In like
I mean, he's
one
so
shot?
tortured and also so horrifying.
Yeah. Some of the best actors out there, really.
Yeah.
I mean, God. Things we're familiar with, snatching the necklace, wrapping her up. Really scary when we see his face through the plastic while he's wrapping her up. It's like, is she still alive at that point? It seems to imply that.
Right.
He kicks Ronette on the way by, drops Laura in the river, and enters the lodge through Glastonbury Grove. Cut to the Red Room. Leland's got that black and white face. At first. But then he turns into regular Leland, floats up in the air. Mike's sitting in a chair. The arm comes up to Mike, and we finally get to see the arm being an arm, I guess. He like puts his hand on Mike's stump, and they both say together,
Bob, I want Garmonbozia.
and then we get to see how Garmonbozia is made.
That was always one.
Yeah. How it's made with Mark Summers. Garmonbozia. I think it's Mike's mouth that we see in close up when he's slurping it up.
It looks so gross.
It's disgusting. I mean, I don't know how many people know that the reason David Lynch chose creamed corn as the embodiment of pain and sorrow is because he fucking hates creamed corn and he got served it a lot as a child and it was his least favorite food of all time.
That's so sweet.
We see that monkey. The monkey says Judy. All right. I feel like that is Judy's kind of upper management, just making sure this stuff is happening. Get on, guys. Get in your Gummerbosia processing. Cut to outside the Blue Pine Lodge. We just see a hand pulling back the black plastic, but we know where it is and we know who's doing it. It's Doc Hayward. We don't need to see Lauren Foster. Then we're in the red room again with Laura. She's all glammed up in her eternal black dress, looking gorgeous, sitting in the chair. Cooper is there, smiling down at her. The reverse of their usual dynamic. Yeah. And then she sees a blue blinking light, and finally the angel has come back. Too little too late here, but... But Laura smiles the biggest smile you've ever seen from her. Yeah. And she's actually happy and not Bob-possessed smile. It's relief and joy and sobbing. And the last thing we see is her throwing her head back, laughing. Yeah. Which is a nice way to end it. Even though we know that it doesn't end there.
Right. We know we have to get to Laura's murder. That's where part 2 starts with.
1 week, yeah.
Right? Well, nothing you can do. No getting around what's going to happen. It's nice to end on that image. It's so hard, the end. Ugh,
yeah, it's so hard. Yeah. And a lot of the diary, and I guess a lot of the show in general, is just about the inevitability of these things and how you can try to stop it in every way you want, but and you can even get supernatural help doing it, and you can be psychic, and it's still going to happen. Mm-hmm. Judy will never let her go. That sucks. But for now, we can pretend it's a happy ending.
Yay!
Grace Zabriskie said about Sheryl Lee's performance, she gave everything she had. She gave more than she could afford to give, and she spent years coming back.
Aww.
She did. She had a hard time with it. But she's very proud of the movie.
That's
and
good.
She said, this is what helped her come back. She said, over the years, I've had many people, victims of incest, approach me and say they were so glad it had been made because it helped them to release a lot.
Wow.
Isn't that so powerful?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Again, I get I sometimes just so effective. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the movie. Woo, we did it. Now we get to do the fun part, which is awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Roadhouse is proud to welcome...
Part 2 awards. Let's just start with the fish, because some were happy.
There was a fish in the percolator.
You're going to have to be going back a little. There's not a fish in my last couple pages of...
The fishes are few and far between in part 2, but they're there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I do have one. I mean, I gotta say my runner-up is gobble, 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 because it's fucking weird. But no, the thing that really made me laugh was I was busy. I was doing this.
I was busy. I was doing this. I'm not that busy.
Good old Shelley. I feel like she's had some fishes over the years. She's really funny. I'm glad that if we couldn't see everybody, we got to see Shelley. She's just one of my favorites.
Shelley's good. Yeah.
And Norma for a second.
No, right. Yeah.
And just their little interactions. They're just the best.
Yeah.
Those two together.
They have a good vibe.
I just really like the way she says you killed Mike. The 3 different ways she says it.
Yeah.
Maybe you killed Mike. Maybe you realize what you did. Killed Mike. You killed Mike.
Shut the fuck up!
That is
it's so funny to me, and it's just such a nice little moment of levity
Mike?
in the middle of this horrible stuff.
That's not Mike. That's not Mike.
That or long gone like a turkey in the corn.
I'm gone. Long gone. Like a turkey in the corn.
That one comes into my mind so much that I can't even laugh at it anymore. It's just it's just a fact. She's long gone like a turkey in the corn. All right, let's do the ceiling fan.
Oh my God,
so many choices.
Right? Mm-hmm. It might be recency bias because it's at the end, but the end is the scariest part. But I think when you hear him shout, "Don't make me do this," is really horrifying.
Yeah. Absolutely. The conflict within him.
Yeah. And that there's part of him that knows what's happening. That's the part that if he was just fully Bob and it's just Bob killed her, but it's Bob in him making him do this, it's so much worse.
And like letting him remember
him know
just
that
enough.
this
That's what he
happened.
loves to do.
It's so awful.
His favorite thing in the world is just like selective memory stuff. That and musicals. Oklahoma. He just loves Oklahoma. I got a tie, I guess, between Bob saying that he wants to taste through her mouth from the ceiling fan and gross. How do you know what she likes? Just the capper on one of the scariest scenes of all time. LVPs.
I mean, there's a few. Mine is Jacques. Because that really bothers me so much that he ties her up when she's saying, don't tie me up. Also, like, other reasons.
Yes,
Jacques.
sure.
That's what puts him over.
We don't even see the bite the bullet baby part.
Right. Ugh.
That was my ceiling fan for that episode.
Yeah.
I'm glad we don't see that. I don't need to see that.
Right. Jacques is just all bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually wrote Jacques in my notes, but now we've been talking about it, I'm going to say Harold.
I had that.
One less LVP for Harold.
Harold, another LVP contender.
He's the only one she tells.
That is true.
I don't know when I can come back. Maybe never.
Laura! Laura!
And he's like, can't leave my house.
Not really, yeah.
Yes! Yes!
Not real, can't leave my house.
Bye.
Thanks for nothing. Do you have a fucking phone, Harold?
Right.
Do you help in any way?
Right.
Nope.
Not like Harold.
Let's do the MVPs. Hooray. The best thing of all. MVP of Fire Walk With Me.
I will say there's someone I want to give it to for this sentiment because I love to give it to this person, but I really have to give it to Ray Wise.
Ooh,
But
all right.
My runner-up was Laura.
Okay, well, I'm glad you did that because I have to give it to Laura.
I had a feeling, right?
Yes.
I'm like...
This is perfect because I was tied between Jacques and Harold, and you picked Jacques on the LVP,
Yes.
and now we get to have both. We get to have
Perfect.
both. Best of both worlds, Laura and Ray Wise. Like that's why they get top billing because they're the fucking stars of this movie.
Oh God! And I just feel like no one could do what Ray Wise did.
I don't think anyone could do what either of them did.
Right.
Like I literally cannot think of. David Lynch is an amazing caster. I don't know how anyone could ever have done that besides them. I do want to give Donna an honorable mention, though. She really tried.
She did.
Like, more than we've ever seen Donna try.
She's better
trying.
than the other Donna, yeah.
Remember me? I'm your best friend.
She just doesn't have enough information.
Right.
She can't help it.
Right.
Awesome. Do you have any final thoughts about Fire Walk With Me other than banger?
Yeah, banger. I guess you have to be an adult to understand it. Now that I'm an adult, I totally understand it. You were right, girls.
It's so true. Those wise girls. If you are listening, girls, please write in.
We saw this movie in Westfield, New Jersey, as soon as it came out at the Westfield Cinema.
And then somehow came across our podcast. It's possible. I did leave some stickers in New Jersey,
There you
so
go.
I hope so. Good night to those girls and Laura and Ray Wise and David Lynch. Really Weird Stuff is hosted by Annie Malone and Jessica Baxter. Music by Julie Cruz, Angelo Badalamenti, and Jessica Baxter. If you enjoyed Really Weird Stuff, please take a minute to rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Instagram at Really Weird Stuff Pod, on Twitter at Really Weird Pod, and on Facebook at Really Weird Stuff Podcast. Thank you for listening.